Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to a bit of an impromptu live stream. So apologies for the delay there, no countdown and no music. I've essentially been sat at home pretty much all day, just refreshing social media, and I thought, do you know what, sod it, I'm going to go live and have a waffle to all of you. I hope you're all well today. Mixed reports coming in from Australia. We've had some developments around the Australian Grand Prix and whether or not we're actually going to see a race this weekend. I know as a fan, we really want to see a race, but obviously health and safety is going to take priority. So I'm going to tell you what we know for sure. Sky are currently reporting some stuff at the moment, but if you have been at work or school or whatever and you're just getting home, it's only 3 o'clock, go back to work. No, I'm joking. We have had some developments this morning. McLaren confirmed that they would be pulling out of this Grand Prix. They will not race in Australia this weekend after a member of their team tested positive for the coronavirus. If you didn't know, 5 members of team personnel were in, I think, self-isolation, 4 from Haas and 1 from McLaren, and the McLaren team member did test positive for COVID-19. Good news is that all 4 Haas team members tested negative. So that's some good news to take from it. But the statement from McLaren, which came out earlier today, let's have a look at this one, said that McLaren Racing has confirmed this evening in Melbourne that it has withdrawn from the 2020 Formula 1 Australian Grand Prix following the positive test of a team member for the coronavirus. The team member was tested and self-isolated as soon as they started to show symptoms and will now be treated by local healthcare authorities. The team has prepared for this eventuality and has ongoing support in place for its employee, who will now enter a period of quarantine. The team is cooperating with the relevant local authorities to assist their investigations and analysis. Zach Brown, CEO of McLaren Racing, and Andreas Seidel informed Formula 1 and the FIA of the decision this evening. The decision has been taken based on a duty of care, not only to McLaren F1 employees and partners, but also to the team's competitors, Formula 1 fans, and wider stakeholders. That is their statement. Basically, that's it. That's what we got this morning. That led to so much speculation about this season. Were we going to see the Australian Grand Prix go ahead? Were we going to see other cancellations? There's still massive question marks. A lot of conflicting reports as well about the Vietnam Grand Prix possibly being called off. At the moment, that's not the case. That's all going ahead as planned. Waiting for a statement on that. I expect something this weekend. But anyway, that's neither here nor there right this second. But minutes before I went live, Sky Sports' Craig Slater has reported that he's learned, and his sources, and you know what Sky Sports are like with their sources, that the Australian Grand Prix will be going ahead without McLaren. So it is all still set to go ahead without McLaren this Sunday, but that's according to Sky Sports. I'll just check Twitter again. There is no official word as far as I can see. No, from Formula 1. Nothing official as yet from Formula 1. So we are still going to have to go with the old Sky sources, and apparently, and the rumours are saying this, that and the other. But that is the latest, the absolute latest, is Craig Slater has learned from, I think he said, team personnel and sources at the circuit, that everything is going ahead as planned in Australia this weekend. Of course, practice is what? 9-10 hours away? Something like that now. So it's not long till FP1. So whatever they decide, they've left it very, very late. And perhaps even we could debate maybe the fact it's been left so late is why they've had to go ahead with things. I mean, how can you? I mean, you can. They've got the power to do so, but calling a race off hours before the first session. I mean, what does that do for sponsors? It's all going to come down to money. I'm not going to BS you. We all know it's down to money. They've been talking all day, the FIA, about their priority, or F1, their priority being the fans and everybody around and blah blah blah, and the safety of everybody. If priority means a priority, if it was a priority, then the race would not be going ahead. So it's not. It's all down to money and whatnot. And I think it is a bit late. Some other conflicting reports. Motorsport Broadcasting about 34 minutes ago said that they'd heard that sources close to F1 TV broadcasters have been told not to go to the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit tomorrow. So at the minute, it's all completely up in the air. And that's kind of why I wanted to be here and have a bit of a waffle to you guys. Because, yeah, what do we do in this situation? What do you think in chat? I'll take some of your questions as well if you've got any questions about what's been going on today. It's been a little bit mental. Not really. The official line at the moment is we don't know if the race is going ahead, but we know for sure that McLaren will not be there. There's some reports saying that there's a number of McLaren personnel now in quarantine. There's the big question, Bahrain in a week's time. if they have to quarantine big numbers of the McLaren team, they've got to be in quarantine for 14 days. And Bahrain is a week away and the race is 10 days away. So I would, without speculating too much on it, because I don't want to go spreading misinformation. I'm not a news channel, obviously, but I don't want to spread misinformation. But I'd maybe assume that McLaren probably won't be able to race in Bahrain. I guess technically their second home race with all the investment that comes from there. So a lot of concern about McLaren and what happens for Formula One. Of course, it's been such a weird day. If you've been watching the news, it's been developing almost by the minute. That's what it's felt like all day. And right now, Sky is saying the race goes ahead, but 6 hours' time, that could have all changed again. If we get a couple more people testing, I mean, I hope not, but if we get a couple more people testing positive for coronavirus in the paddock between now and, let's say, 8 p.m. UK time, what do they do then? Because it's clearly spreading. So it's such a bizarre situation. And I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I don't say this. I think the F1 or F1's response and the FIA response to all of this has been absolutely diabolical. I really, really do. I know I went in on the FIA last week about the whole Ferrari thing, but I think the way they've handled it is a joke. The fact we're relying on journalists who are in the paddock who know probably about as much as we do, and teams that don't really know anything, who are trying to keep people up to date, are having to pass around information while the FIA and Liberty Media don't appear to be doing anything. Of course they are doing something. I can sit here and say they're not doing anything on the outside, but on the inside they're going to have all these crisis meetings or crisis cells, whatever they call them, and all of that. But we shouldn't be sat here hours before the start of the season questioning whether or not this race or even this season is going to go ahead. It's ridiculous that we're in this position as fans or Formula One. Forget fans for a second. The teams, their sponsors, everybody. We're sat here still waiting to know if we're going racing in a few hours' time. It's absolutely ludicrous, and this should have been decided a week ago. I know the situation's evolving so quickly, and it's difficult to say for sure, isn't it? Can we really call it a week ago? But I said to John T, I'll be honest, I said it. I said it to friends as well. Given what's going on, I know the world can't just stop. I don't want to get sucked into that argument. I know that, life goes on and all of this and whatnot, and the majority of us that get it will all get over it in a few weeks. But the fact of the matter is, it's sport. We love Formula One. We love football. Look what's going on over there. But at the end of the day, sport is not more important than people's health. And I said to John T, the sensible thing to do, if there was any doubt whatsoever about these first 4 races, is to cancel them and we start in Zandvoort, reassess the situation 10 days before Zandvoort, let's say, just under 2 weeks, and say, do you know what? Everything's looking good. Things are improving. Let's go racing. Or, things are still a bit rough. Let's postpone a bit longer. Monaco earlier, strangely enough, which is a race that is not held until the end of May or near the end of May, have put a statement out saying that they are continuing preparations. The circuit is being built. They're just finishing all of that off, but they are aware of the situation and are in constant contact with the FIA. So there's doubts in the minds of organisers of a race that's not even happening until the end of May. So quite how we've got to this point in Australia is, well, no, it's not beyond me. I shouldn't laugh. It's not beyond me. It's the FIA. It's Liberty Media. I'm not surprised at all by any of this. Absolute madness. And I'm not, again, I don't want to get into the debate about, life stopping and what we should do and shouldn't do. I'm trying to look at this from a sporting point of view, but surely the right thing is to call it off with this little time to go. But again, like I said right at the start, is it because there is so little time that they can't call it off now? Is it too late? Is that the position they're in? It does come down to money. I've seen a couple of you in chat saying it. They can talk about people's health and safety, and the priority is there and keeping the team safe and making sure that their personnel are all okay. It comes down to money. That's all it is. I think there's something in the regulations. I did look at it earlier, but I completely forgot what it is now. But it was something along the lines of, or word for word, but it was something along the lines of, if the race is cancelled before scrutineering goes ahead, then they don't get a hosting fee. But if it's cancelled after that, they maybe do. And that's what's upsetting Liberty Media here. It's all down to money. I don't want to get all tinfoil hat on you all, but it's true. We all know it's true. If it wasn't down to money, it was down to genuine priority over health and safety, the race wouldn't go ahead. But it's a difficult... I kind of... Does anybody in chat... I expect just a wave of no's now when I say this, because there's a lot of anger out there from fans, but does anybody in chat feel a little bit for Liberty and the FIA, in that maybe they're just a little bit, they've got caught in this and don't know what to do, and they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, sponsors, stakeholders, fans and all of that want, and teams as well. But this, according to Sky, 9 teams have agreed they want to go racing. So if they're all saying that, what does the FIA do? It's so, I wouldn't want that job. I criticise them so much, but I would not want that wave of no. Some yeses, though. That's good to see. Some of us care. No, I'm joking. But yeah, just a bizarre situation today. I've been watching for a long time, as you know, and I can't remember the last time we had, I think probably US Grand Prix 2005 vibes is what I'm feeling right now. It just has that air about it. We've got 9 teams want to go ahead with the race if we believe Sky. The race is going to go ahead if we believe Sky. And McLaren are going to have to sit at home and watch it. Or not even at home, are they? They can't go home. They're stuck in Australia for the next 2 weeks, some of them. So, I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I'm a Formula One fan. I want us to go racing. I want to watch a race on Sunday. We've been waiting since November, okay? But surely with everything going on everywhere else, I mean, football, I'm just looking at Sky Sports now. Football, they're cancelling pretty much everything. I think UEFA next week having a meeting, and the rumour, or again, the reports from Sky sources, is they're going to call off Euro 2020 until next summer, 2021. So if we've got football that's not even due to take place for another few months getting called off potentially, what are the FIA doing? It just, we don't know all the information, of course we don't, but from the outside looking in, it looks absolutely crazy that this race is going ahead, in my opinion. And I think when you listen to Lewis Hamilton this morning, he's shocked. He doesn't seem happy at all, pretty angry that they're racing in Australia this weekend. He doesn't understand why. You've got Kimi Räikkönen, who never says more than 2 words, and one of those is usually bois. He's saying that if it was up to teams and drivers, they wouldn't be racing this weekend. You've got Seb Vettel, who is very quick to get on side with the FIA, saying, you know, look, we have to trust the FIA, but we are right to question why we're racing this weekend. If the drivers aren't comfortable and the drivers aren't happy to do so, somebody has to take a decision. And I think Kimi Räikkönen, for me, he said, you know, this isn't our decision. This isn't up to us. It's not our call. It is completely the driver's call. We're going back a long way, but you go back to Jackie Stewart's day. Drivers, completely different set of circumstances before you say it. I know completely different Formula One as well, but drivers back then were not happy with safety at circuits. They wanted them brought up to scratch, and they were refusing to race because they weren't comfortable to go racing. If the drivers are really that sure that they don't want to be racing, first of all, would they be there? Secondly, just say, we're not racing. But apparently 9 teams have all said they're happy to go ahead. So even if your drivers turn around and say we're not racing, then put your reserve drivers in. Ultimately, I mean, the drivers are contracted, aren't they? It's just so difficult. I do part of me, and a tiny part of me really feels for the FIA, the position they're in, but at the same time, it's their fault it's been left so late. They've been putting statements out every single day on their website, and it is exactly the same statement they've been putting out for the last month and a half, something like that. So, I don't know. I'm not going to say they're not taking it seriously, because I don't think that's fair, because they will be taking it seriously, but I think money is ultimately what's going on here. I will keep an eye on Twitter for any official word. Essentially, I'm live to tell you what I'm reading on Twitter, because that's all I've done all day. I just want to say, I mean, they're not going to be listening, but I do want to say big shout outs to the likes of Jenny Gow and Chris Medland, who have just been keeping so many people up to date on Twitter with the information they have, which is next to nothing. They're going to teams and saying, what's going on? And teams are going, we don't know. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that even the teams didn't know. So we'll keep an eye on all this. I might change the title of the stream shortly. I'll be live for a little while. I won't disappear and leave you all to it after my little moaning there. I will take some of your questions shortly. Just having a quick look through. So Sky Sports' tweet said, despite McLaren's withdrawal from this weekend's F1 opener after a team member showed coronavirus-like symptoms, this weekend's Australian Grand Prix is set to go ahead. That instantly is a BS statement, because it wasn't that he showed coronavirus symptoms. He tested positive for coronavirus. So that's instantly mixed. So at the moment, race to go ahead. Social media not happy by the look of it, and I can kind of understand that. So, and of course, actually going back to that point I made on motorsport broadcasting, when they were saying that they've been told that TV personnel have been told to stay away from the circuit. Well, if Sky themselves are now reporting the race is on, then that's not correct, is it? So lots of stuff going on. I think some reports saying we won't get any race until June. Other people saying it's all going ahead this weekend. It's all over the place. And what we could do within Formula One is a governing body who comes out and says, right, this is the situation. This is what's happening. Even if they just said, we're off to a meeting now, we're going to discuss it, we'll let people know more as soon as we get that information in. But they're not. They're just not telling anybody anything. And I think they've been shown up. I think the FIA and Liberty Media have been shown up big time by the NBA. I think even UEFA to a point. Now, they're a bit weird that they're not getting together till Tuesday, but they've got big decisions to make. At least they're being proactive. They're being shown up by football across the world. You know, I'm just reading Leicester City apparently as well. Just reading the bottom of the Sky Strip there, saying a few players have been showing signs, and so they are being isolated. So it's such a fast thing. It really, really is. But we'll take some of your questions. Let me know as well what you think. Should this race be going ahead? Should we be calling it off? I mean, the next question is, I guess, is this going to be a championship event? We go back to... we're going back a few weeks now. Ross Brawn turned around and said, didn't he, if teams can't get to the circuit, any team can't get to the circuit and can't race as a result of coronavirus and travel restrictions, then they won't be holding a championship event. They could race, but it wouldn't count for points. What's the situation now? Are they going to say, well, hang on a minute, no, McLaren chose to pull out? Or are they going to say that they pulled out due to force majeure, so it's not their fault, let's just have a non-championship event? It's a bizarre one, isn't it? It is kind of weird, though, because I said last night as well to a few people that they're in Australia now, so just race behind closed doors and get on with it. They're all there, so just hold a race. But at the same time, you think, well, then you're just dumping on fans again, aren't you? I really feel for the fans as well in this situation. They're probably heading off to their hotels and whatnot tonight and sat at home looking forward to coming over for the race or going over for the race on Friday. Or not for the race, the practice on Friday. And they're like, well, are we going ahead or not? What's going on? So I do think, yeah... I don't know. Let's have a look at this. Sam says if it's a non-champ, it will be crappy. That's Sam Bananas. Cracking name. Yes, I don't know about crappy. I think it will be gloves off. But the other thing is, are teams going to have agreed to a non-championship event? Because then you have to talk about the cost of running that, because you get no points for it. The records don't count for anything. You've used, Pirelli will have used tyres that are going to mean absolutely nothing. A sponsor's going to pay out because we don't know contracts. Contracts could say something like, we will pay out X amount of money for each round of a Formula One World Championship event. That maybe gets sponsors out of paying. So I feel like if it was a non-championship event, the teams wouldn't have agreed. Is my gut feeling on that one. What's the point in a non-championship, says Fusion Dice? I think just if they're all there, let them race. We've had non-championship events in the past, but it's been a long time. It has been a long time. Stiggle says, God, this chat, lol. I know. It's it's probably worse it is from testing. I think a lot of people with a lot of questions. If Williams pulls out, who will notice, says iFlick. That's harsh. That's very harsh. Every race is a non-championship event. Mercedes will win. Why would the race for no points and use your engine? That's another very good point. What do we do about engine penalties? What do we do about engine penalties if we get... I'll read that in a second. If we get a situation where they go racing in non-championship events, do those power units count towards it? Because they shouldn't, but the teams are then going to have to pay more money for a power unit, which means Williams, for example, who are pretty skint, are going to have to pay for another power unit. In some ways, it would just be easier if they just did a proper championship event or cancelled it. That's really where they need to be, but we'll see on that one. Recon YT says the Dutch government has said that all events with over 100 people will be cancelled till 31st of March. That might even be extended, so the Dutch Grand Prix is not certain to be raced at all. That's on is that the 1st of May? The Dutch Grand Prix? It's like really early, isn't it, in May? So, yeah, there's still another month in that one. So, yeah. Interesting point. I'd not known that about the... Oh, no, I did. I listened to it on Sky just before. So, do you think the Vietnamese Grand Prix will go ahead considering it's right next to China? Honestly, I don't. I've been saying that since testing. There were some reports yesterday. Chase Carey had been in Hanoi for a meeting with the organisers and the promoters and all of that in Vietnam. And according to the reports that had come out after that, the decision had been taken to suspend it. or to postpone it. But there are people who have been emailing and getting in touch with the Vietnam organisers and Formula One directly saying, is this off? We want our money back. And they've been sharing their pictures on Twitter. And the official line is still, this race is going ahead. If there's any more information, we will let you know. To me, that says that line, if there's any more information or when there's any more information, we'll let you know, says they're not sure. Because if it was going ahead, they would just say it's going ahead. But I read some really... not fascinating is probably the wrong word as well, but some stuff yesterday of people in Vietnam who were being turned away from hostels, tourists, because people were concerned about the virus getting in. And Vietnam, as far as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, have done very well at containing that virus. I am going to Andrew Benson now, don't panic. Two senior F1 sources tell BBC Sport the Australian Grand Prix has been called off. No official confirmation. I'll retweet that from F1 or the FIA. So it's changed again. Sky Sports being wrong. Never. Stop it. One of those moments I have to remember I'm live. Apologies. My gob tends to happen. So, right. So, according to, if you're just tuning in, here is the latest situation on this whole thing. I'm laughing at the ridiculous nature of it all, not anything else. So, apologies. McLaren will not be racing on Sunday. Whatever happens, they've withdrawn from the Australian Grand Prix after one of their team personnel tested positive for coronavirus. Sky Sports, just before I went live, said the race is going ahead. It's all sorted. Craig Slater's best mate had told him. Craig Slater's best friends, uncles, brothers, dogs, Budgie, told him that the race was going ahead. It was all fine. And just now, Andrew Benson has tweeted, two senior F1 sources tell BBC Sport the Australian Grand Prix has been called off. No official confirmation yet from F1 or the FIA. So, to summarise, McLaren aren't racing. Whatever happens, we still have a race, but we probably don't have a race. It's about as clear as mud then, really. I think the sensible thing is to call it off. If I'm being completely honest, it's so conflicting, isn't it? From looking at this with a grown-up head on, I'm thinking, you've got a team that can't attend. Coronavirus is in the paddock because we've had one person who is, who has tested positive. There are other people in isolation. There's a chance they can't race in Bahrain. And then you've got the other side of me, the Formula One fan who's going, but I want to see a race. It's really awkward. It's really, really awkward. So I think, what would you do? Let me know in chat. What would you do? Would you just cancel or go ahead? Because I'm just intrigued to know, to be honest. And I'm trying to keep an eye on Twitter as well. So let's see. Schrodinger's race. Very good. Very, very good. Yes, I like that. That is what we'll call it, the Schrodinger race. Let's see what you guys are saying on this one. Cancel it, says Adam. Simon says go ahead. I'm going to regret doing this. I didn't put slow mode on. Nathaniel says suspend. Good choice of words. That is a word, Nathaniel, that could bail the FIA out of losing any money or Liberty losing any money here. Because if they suspend it, it's not a cancellation, obviously. So, Alan, very good. I like that. Very, very good. A lot of people saying go ahead. Is that sensible heads on, or are we doing it from a racing fan perspective? From a racing fan perspective, then yeah, let's go. But we'll see. Again, if you are just tuning in, don't expect a massively coherent live stream. I just screwed my face up like, when are they ever? I am just live to keep you all updated with what's happening over on Twitter, because I don't know what's going on at the moment and I'm confused and everyone else is. It's on and off. As somebody said, it's Schrodinger's. It is Schrodinger's race, so we shall see. We shall see. Virtual race is a possibility. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure Veloci and WTF1 will get together and do something like that. Just have a quick drink. Bizarre situation at the moment. I'm not going to change too much from the stream. I was going to chase some of the text around and that. We don't know what's going on at the moment. So, A-Tube says cancel the race. Definitely. If you've got any questions, feel free. I'm sat here nattering to you all, so feel free to pop a question in. Think of it like testing streams, but even less coherent than that. Ravage Hamster says stream the race. Yes. No footage. No news footage in this one. It's going to be The chat's going so quick, I should have put slow mode on. Findlay saying no crowd. That's going to be bizarre, isn't it, in Bahrain? If it goes ahead, it might not be able to go ahead. Craig Slater, I'm going to turn it on and hope it doesn't pick up on the mic. If it does, apologies. Craig Slater saying still no official confirmation. I'm keeping an eye, don't worry. Still keeping an eye on Twitter. As soon as something comes up from F1, I've got my emails open as well, so keep an eye on those ones. But I'll take a couple of questions. We'll stay live while we know what's going on. I don't know, by the way, not that it's the biggest thing in the world, but if you're here for in-season content, I have no idea what happens if everything gets called off. Don't ask me. I've only just decided what I want to do for race weekend. God damn it. But there you go. Take out all the boring races like Yas and Sochi and change the calendar. Simple, says the Saint. I wish it was that simple. Get rid of Abu Dhabi, get rid of Russia, get rid of France and all of that lot, and let's have races in good tracks. Let's have Bahrain. There was some talk, actually. I am going to take questions, I promise, but things keep coming to me. I've not been live for a while, so you're going to get it. But there was some talk yesterday, according to gptoday.net. Their sources were telling them, I love that word sources, but I trust GP Today. Fergal's awesome. So the talk was that there might be 2 Bahrain Grand Prix. That instead of having... So the plan was to have Australia this weekend. That's, of course, before everything that kicked off today. So Australia this weekend, then next weekend the Bahrain Grand Prix, then a week off, and then the slot where, was it China would have been, I think. They would have had a second Bahrain Grand Prix there. But I'm not sure on how that would work, given that, unless that was it might be Vietnam, actually, sorry, not China. If Vietnam were cancelled, then there'd be a Bahrain Grand Prix a couple of weeks later. The idea being then that the teams would be in Bahrain for well over 2 weeks. They get around the quarantine period and can come back over to Europe without too many problems. So it's actually not a bad solution. I was discussing this last night with a couple of people again. If we can't go to certain tracks, if places like Bahrain that are purpose-built and that circuit's all about F1, if they can hold 2 races... It's a good way to get around quarantine, give us a season and get a championship together. We need 8 races, of course, don't we? We need 8 races for a world championship to be declared. And I keep saying this as well. If they decide to call off the season, just postpone it till the summer break if they need to, because there are still 9 races after the summer break. So Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Russia, Japan, US, Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. That's 1 more than is needed for a championship event. So even if Italy wasn't ready to go ahead, then you'd still have 8. And I don't think that'd be a terrible move. I would argue that any further postponements will be effectively cancellations because they are struggling to fit China in again at the end of the year. I can't see how they're going to fit in China, possibly Australia, perhaps Vietnam, and who knows, maybe even Bahrain in at the end of the year. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So any further postponements, I fully expect to be cancellations. I'm just going to refresh Twitter. I was told, this is Chris Medland, I was only told teams were meeting tonight, not that the FIA/F1 were necessarily in that meeting. Conflicting reports of what's happened next. Could be because they're different camps. Teams putting pressure on F1/FIA to make the call and not making it for them. So it sounds like we've got some politics going on in F1. Who knew? So that's the latest from Chris Medland. Some jokes flying around, which I won't read. And Motorsport Broadcasting saying, hearing independently that the race has been cancelled. So again, that's 2 or 3 people now. 2 people saying that it's been cancelled. Sky Sports F1 saying it's still on. And we've got Chris Medland saying, who knows? So there we go. I think it will be postponed. They'll call it a postponement because of obviously the financial implications of calling a race off. But yeah. Again, you know, my racing fans head on, I'll be gutted if we don't race this weekend, but there's been an inevitable feeling about it all week. I don't know if you guys have felt that. I've really felt this week, like, since probably, yeah, I think probably most of this week, it's just felt like it would be called off. I don't know why, just a gut feeling, and then obviously things started happening worldwide. I dropped my pen. That wasn't the biggest disaster of the week. Things started happening worldwide, and you're sort of looking at that. We've got, in the UK right now, we've got Boris Johnson and co meeting, a cabinet meeting, a Cobra meeting, I think they call it, to determine whether we're going to move into the delay stage. Delay stage is a cracking, it's 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 a cracking, name for it because we've just delayed and delayed and delayed in this country, and it's what we do at the moment. If we're not delaying with Brexit, we're delaying with decisions over a virus. We're good like that. So Mosh, yes, a couple of people saying BBC has said it's called off. Yep, that's the latest from the BBC. Sky still saying it's set to go ahead. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to wait for official turn before we make any kind of changes to the stream titles and whatnot. All we do know for sure is McLaren aren't racing this weekend. So, yes. Why the F can't F1 put out a freaking statement if yes or no, says True Regulators. That is a very calm line. I'd sit here and say incompetence because it's what they do. But what I think it's more that we have to remember that right now in Melbourne, it's the middle of the night, early hours. So maybe they are just hanging off until sort of 7 a.m. maybe, local time to make a statement, at which point it's a bit bloody late, really, isn't it? 3-4 hours before FP1. But yeah, Ankit Senna said, imagine the season opener was in Silverstone. I thought this yesterday. Would it be, it'd be a bad thing because we do love our racing, but would it be terrible if the 70th anniversary started at Silverstone, the first place that ever hosted a race? That or Monaco would be pretty cool. If we've been having a good play. Obviously, I think Sean Bratches, when he was still at Liberty, said that he quite liked the idea of having the British Grand Prix start the season. But I can confirm, looking out my window now, the British Grand Prix this weekend would be an absolute disaster. It is not good. It is not good. I didn't put my headphones on for Sky, and I don't want to turn it on so you pick up the audio because I'll get into trouble with copyright. Have any of the support series pulled out? That's a very good question from LA Davis. I've not seen anything. Like I say, I've been refreshing Twitter crazily all day, and I know Twitter isn't the source of all information, but it is a good way to get news and whatnot super quickly. There's some Chris Medler saying it's 2:30 a.m. In Australia, so maybe they're just waiting for a bit more of a reasonable time. But it's 3:40 in the afternoon here in the UK, and therefore 4:40 in Europe. They could release something. People are awake across the world, so I kind of get it. But yeah, I've not seen anything on support races. I would assume that would be dependent on what Formula One is doing. If Formula One cancel it, then the support series would cancel. If F1 went ahead, I think support series would go ahead. That being said, there was a race. Oh, what was it this morning? Tell me in chat. There was a race around Albert Park. There's no F2, by the way, or F3 there in Australia. But I think there are some support races. I think Carrera might have been there. Carrera Cup. I might be wrong. So there you go. Yes, there you go. The is S5000. Thank you very much, Connor, for that one. I appreciate that, mate. So much information today. It's crazy. People keep coming in and saying BBC reporting it's cancelled. Yes, they are. Sky are still saying it's on. Conflicting reports. Chris Medland, another tweet from him. Still massive confusion as to what happens next when you really don't want people run down. There are going to be a lot of knackered people in the paddock tomorrow who flew halfway across the world this week. Obviously up all night trying to sort this situation out. So this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I'll do some super chats in a moment as well. Thank you. Yeah, wasn't doing this for super chats or anything like that. I just wanted to waffle to some fellow F1 fans. I'm sat in my office prepping for the weekend and keeping an eye on Twitter and thinking, I've got no one to talk to. Let's go live and annoy people and wind them up. So do drop a like on the stream. I know it's a bit random and I'm all over the place and it's probably not the best quality, but please do drop a like on the stream. It'd be massively appreciated. But yes, I was going to do something that's gone out of my head. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what I was going to tell you. I will come to that question in a moment from Sam. In fact, no, I'll answer it now quickly. Sean, how many races would need to be scrapped for a season to be called off? That's from Sam. Oh, I don't know how many. I can't be bothered to do the maths. We need 8 races. 8 races for it to be held as a championship season. So anything other than that. So let's say, for argument's sake, that Sky were right and the Australian Grand Prix goes ahead this weekend, but Bahrain gets called off and then a number of others get called off and we end up, come the end of the season, in fits and spurts, we've had 7 races. There wouldn't be a World Championship awarded at the end of it. It wouldn't count as a World Championship. There needs to be 8 races for us to have a proper World Championship. But also, worth noting as well that if this virus was to spread throughout the paddock, you only need 12 drivers on the grid for the race to go ahead. So it's 12 drivers for a race to go ahead. It's 8 races for it to be declared a World Championship minimum. So there we go. There we go. I was just talking about other series that have postponed things. NBA yesterday left it incredible. I was talking about it being left late in Formula One, but it was left incredibly late. There were teams on the court in the NBA last night, and it got called off pretty much, well, as last minute as it could have been. So these decisions are being taken, you know, we're criticising the FIA, but these decisions are being taken all over the world with very short notice. So that's I think US soccer is at MLS is suspended now. There we go. Yep, I know I read a list about Miami, Inter Miami, David Beckham's team. There was some stuff about that on Sky before I went live, so that's been suspended. Formula E, unofficially, everything is cancelled for the next 2 months in Formula E, although I think, to be fair, pretty much everything was cancelled anyway, bless them. But yeah, everything's cancelled in Formula E for the next 2 months. No official line as far as I've seen on that, but that is... Autosport put out a thing yesterday saying Autosport has learned. So you sort of go, oh, okay, we'll wait for official news. But then Lucas Di Grassi and Antonio Felix da Costa quoted it and said, it's for the best, it's for the best. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much confirmed. So no Formula E for the next 2 months. And other people in chat now going, yeah, no Formula E, but I enjoy it. So, yeah, disappointing there. Baseball, apparently, according to Toro Loco. Didn't know that one. But, yeah. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Just keeping up. There's nothing official yet from F1. Still just, yeah, I will do an update in just a second, don't worry. So that, yeah, just so much information just flying at me. The BBC have said that this weekend's season-opening Australian Grand Prix has been postponed over coronavirus concerns. 2 senior F1 sources have told the BBC. So that is what the BBC are reporting. I'm just going to go quickly over to Sky F1. And see what's going on the Formula 1. Have they taken that down? Nope, they're still reporting. F1 is set to go ahead. The Australian Grand Prix is set to go ahead this weekend as planned despite McLaren's withdrawal. So you've got 2 completely conflicting reports from 2 incredibly reliable... Stop it. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I'm going to do some super chats because you guys have been awesome with those so far. I'm going to have to open Streamlabs. I'm going to have to multitask on a live stream. Still no news from number 10, interestingly enough. If anyone hears anything in the UK, let me know. I've got Sky open and all of that, so I'm going to have to go over here and see if it's working. Read some of your super chats out. If you have got questions, just hold them off for a second because I'm looking elsewhere now from chat, and I will try. I'm genuinely going to try and answer some. That is the 3,000th time I've said that in 40 minutes. So yes, bear with me. Let's have a look. So, Tacky17, thank you very much for your contribution. Says, we're going to be watching a lot of Marbula 1 for racing this year, I reckon. That's an idea for content. The Marbula 1 word. If you've not watched Marbula 1, wow. It is so good. I'm totally with the Orange boys, the O-Rangers. They are my team. Fantastic. It is it's marbles around a plastic track with a few GoPros, but it is so good. So enjoyable to watch and so kind of... I can't even use the word compelling, almost. It's crazy. Dan the Indoor Man. Good afternoon, mate. Are you going to bother me for a spanner all day? Is that what you come to do? Now a team has backed out. Doesn't that mean it's a non-championship race? Wasn't there something put in place in case a team couldn't get there? Yes. And, yeah. The quote from Ross Brawn was that if the team couldn't get there as a result of travel restrictions because of coronavirus, then the race would be a non-championship event. So he wasn't willing to let anything go ahead without all 10 teams able to get on the grid. However, there's nothing in there that states that if a team pulls out, the race would be a non-championship event. So at the moment, if the race were to go ahead, which we still don't know either way, despite reports coming from everywhere, but if it were to go ahead, it would not be... There's no word on whether it would be a championship event or not. I would assume it would be, because I think they're going to get out on a technicality on this one. And yeah. Honestly, if it's a non-championship event, as I said earlier, I don't see the point in racing because you're just putting more money through the team. The team have to spend more money to go racing for literally nothing other than... Well, not literally nothing. For fans, aren't they? They're doing it for fans, so... The Scorpion Strike says, Diecast Racing, the only safe racing this year. Thank you very much to Ewan Joshua Pile, or Pile, butchering names already. Very evil person from Illuminati. Thank you very much. Trying not to be too evil. J Demo as well. And the Car Throttle says, I think Azerbaijan is our safest bet for a race. And I think I read that from the Scorpion Strikes. I think we're all right there. So, yeah. When's Azerbaijan? That's a little way away yet, isn't it? So, yeah. I hope. I'd like to think we'd be in a position where things would be sorted by then, but that could be wishful thinking. We get into the summer then. There's a lot of people talking about how this may go away or start to go away when we get to the summer as temperatures increase, but we don't know a lot about it, do we? So we'll see. Kirill says, has the Sun reported anything? They are the most reliable. I wouldn't believe a word the Sun says. I really wouldn't. Apologies, I'm going to drink. I'll take some of your questions. Mid-April, yeah. Azerbaijan is... It's before Canada. It's that stupid back-to-back. I can't... What? Yeah, weird. Go from Azerbaijan to Canada and then back again. Not to Azerbaijan, obviously, but yeah, crazy. Drive to Survive Season 3 from RM will be interesting. It will indeed be interesting. By the way, I'm going to say this, just, bit tongue-in-cheek. Yes, I am. In Drive to Survive Season 2. Thank you so much for all your messages of concern. A lot of people going, oh, did you know? I hope you got paid. Have they stolen it? It was all arranged. It was all arranged beforehand. But thank you very much to everyone who's been showing concern. It is kind of cool to know that you guys are out there and you've got my back. But yeah, it is. I think Esteban Ocon was recording something for Season 3 today. So there you go. I don't think there's been any confirmation it's going ahead, the Season 3, but I think the fact Esteban Ocon's recording stuff for it says a lot. Wonder if Hamilton won't race because he protested already. That's from Banjo Online. I read that on as three things. Banjo Online. I did mention that earlier, didn't I? He wasn't very happy in the press conference today, so he might turn around. Just confirmation on Sky that MLS suspended for 30 days. La Liga as well, of course, hasn't it? That's off for 2 weeks. UEFA apparently on Tuesday are set to, again, Sky sources, are set to postpone the Euro 2020 tournament till 2021. The Olympics are due to go ahead this summer, I think. Yeah, Olympics this summer as well. There's talk that the Champions League and the Europa League are all going to get called off next week as well. So crazy. I mean, obviously the City Real Madrid game on Tuesday won't go ahead because that's all. Yeah. Real Madrid are in quarantine, so they can't. It's as simple as that. Crazy stuff. People saying Sky announced it's going ahead. Absolutely, but BBC announcing that it's not. So at the moment, we have two conflicting reports. No word from F1/FIA. Still no information prior to this about what would happen should someone test positive. F1 gambled, F1 lost, and God knows what the ramifications are going to be. That's from Luke Smith, somebody else who's I tend to find quite reliable over on Twitter as well. So we have got conflicting reports all over the place. So if you are just tuning in, good luck is the first thing. But if you are just tuning in, McLaren have withdrawn from the Australian Grand Prix. They will not take part after one of their team members tested positive for coronavirus. They're in isolation. Apparently a number of other team members as well, according to reports, are also now in isolation. So that puts their involvement at the Bahrain Grand Prix in doubt too. Since then, a meeting has apparently been held between teams and officials, and a decision, according to Sky, was taken for the race to go ahead as planned. However, about 20 minutes later, after that had broken, or half an hour, something like that, BBC have reported that they've been told by two senior sources, so not just Craig Slater's mate from the pub, two senior sources, that they are cancelling the race, postponing the race this weekend. So all over the place at the moment. We still don't know what's going on with Vietnam. Reports yesterday, that picture's very blurry, sorry, random. But yes, conflicting reports yesterday again that Vietnam was going to get postponed, but it wasn't, and it's all over the place. I don't honestly think... I think the problem here is I don't think the FIA know. I really, really don't. I really, really don't. Maybe they do. It just feels like they're winging it. And again, I'm sure they're not, but It feels that way. Nicholas Sturgeon advises any against mass gatherings of over 500 people from Monday onwards. That's in Scotland. That is nothing to do with Formula One. I don't know why I read it out loud. I was supposed to keep it ahead, but there we go. Yes, let's see what you guys are saying in chat as well. And I'll keep an eye on the old Twitter sphere. I trust the BBC more than Sky, says Adam. You're braver than me, mate, but yeah, no, that's fine. F1 isn't just about the drivers, safety to all team members. That's from Jenna. Probably not, but yeah. All right, 22 races in Bahrain with different circuit configuration. You could do that actually at Paul Ricard, couldn't you? You could have 22 different races around Paul Ricard. So yeah, come on, France, sort it out and we'll all go racing there. Maybe we'll find a decent layout that we can use next year. Liverpool only need to win 2 games behind closed doors and it's won. They can cancel it after that. I was talking to Bloomy last night, bless him, after the Champions League exit. He was not impressed. Not impressed at all, as I'm sure a lot of you Liverpool fans won't be. And I said it would be like the most Liverpool thing ever, I think were his words. The most Liverpool thing ever if the season got cancelled and declared null and void just as they're about to win their first title in 30 years. As a Manchester United fan, you think I'd be laughing my backside off at that, but to be honest, I think that'd be a bit of a pee take, to be honest, if they did that. The title's won, let them have it, whatever happens. So I think Australian Grand Prix should be behind closed doors. Thank you, Charles. Help me move it back to Formula One there. Melbourne Grand Prix to be called off. I got racing videos if you're missing racing action. That's from Boo Boo Racing Gran Turismo. There you go. Go check out Boo Boo Racing's channel if you want some racing. I would upload F1 game content here, but I am shockingly bad at it, so there's just no point. I just humiliate myself and you'd all hate me. So yeah, bizarre. But I think behind closed doors would be, if the race goes ahead, I think they have to do that. Really, don't they? Do you think? I don't think we can. I can't remember the number. I think they were talking like 200,000 people through the door, if you like, or through the gates. We can't really. I don't know. I keep umming and ahhing because this is why I wouldn't want to be in the FA's position. I really wouldn't. So if it goes ahead, I think behind closed doors would be the most sensible way to go about it. I mean, I don't know. I'm so conflicted on this. I've got to listen to a sensible head. Call it off. There's no point. It's not worth the risk, and this should have been decided weeks ago, months ago, not now. Melbourne Grand Prix to be called off at approaching 3 a.m. Not sure what took them so long. That's from Matt Dickinson. I think that's from, is it from the Times? The Times Chief Sports, right? So 3 a.m. in the Oz is any minute. So brace yourself. Oh, I get to be live for some breaking news. I do enjoy this. I love narky people on Twitter. They're my favourite kind of people. Like, I'm not a journalist, you know. I just pass on news that I see, so back off. It's kind of what I feel like tweeting, but then you just open yourself up to abuse on the old Twitter sphere. People say YouTube's toxic. I'm not having it. Twitter is the worst these days for F1 fans. But yeah, we are due any minute now, apparently. 4 minutes away. We should get announced around 3 if we listen to Matt Dickinson from the Times. Jonty saying, okay, that's 2 versus 1. Anyone else care to chime in? Yeah. F1 Broadcasting saying the same as well, so we'll keep an eye on this one. Keep a very close eye. But yeah, I'll answer some of your questions for a few minutes again. You keep putting great questions to me, and then I go off on a waffle because you remind me of other things. So, question and speculation. Go on then. 2 of my favourite words. That's from, is that Janes or Janez? You know who you are. Will the cancellation of the first few races result in better chances for Verstappen to beat Hamilton? That is actually a really bloody good question. Wow, I need to read these things before I read them out. So, Australia, Bahrain, Vietnam, China. Australia is a track that Mercedes have gone at very, very well. haven't they, over recent years? The official F1 website is down, apparently. Thank you very much, Mike Robinson, for your contribution, mate. Appreciate that. It doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, so Australia has been a good track for Mercedes. Not necessarily for Hamilton, not won there since 2015. So you would expect them to rock up to Albert Park strong. But Hamilton hasn't had the best of luck there in recent years. Last year, beaten by his teammate, bit of damage on his car as well. You go back to the virtual safety car in 2018. That caused some controversy too, didn't it? Sebastian Vettel effectively nicking the win, or Mercedes throwing that win away through a miscommunication or something. Oh, no, it was a software error, wasn't it? They had some issues with their software, allegedly, which resulted in timing and whatnot. So, yeah, not the best of luck there. So, maybe that could go to Verstappen. That would have gone to a Mercedes driver, so that might help Verstappen out in the long term. Bahrain, Red Bull not traditionally particularly spectacular there. Ferrari were very strong last year, of course, but Charles Leclerc reliability cost him that win. Sebastian Vettel's spin probably cost him picking up that win. Yeah, let's not get into that one. China, again, they won there a couple of years ago, did Red Bull, but really because of a really quick and clever strategy call on the safety car. So you'd maybe argue that would have gone to Bottas, so maybe Hamilton could have won that. So actually, looking at some of those flyaways, we don't know of Vietnam, of course, not having those and starting the season in, say, Zandvoort, where I'm pretty confident Red Bull are going to be decent, maybe part of that's because of the Orange Army going to be willing him on, but also the track looks like it could suit a Red Bull quite nicely in some parts. It might do. It might. I mean, losing 4 races means obviously stupid thing to say, but there are fewer points up for grabs. So I'm just going to very quickly. Some people telling me some stuff in chat. I'm just going to go check it before we. US travel ban. We know about that one already. That doesn't affect us immediately. Some people saying schools are closed in the UK, but I've not seen anything official on that one yet. NBA player diagnosed with coronavirus have made jokes about the virus. I've seen the videos on that one. That wasn't particularly smart, was it, in the end? I think Paul and Andras, thank you very much for your contributions over on PayPal as well. I don't know if I've given you shout-outs. I will do that. That's really got me thinking now about what this, losing a few races could do for the championship. Could we be in a position where in a year's time we're looking back and going, do you know what? It was only a 12-race season, but it's one of the best seasons we've had for a long time. You know what I mean? Because fewer races mean that everybody's pushing even harder because they really, really, really want to take the... they really want to take the fight to every single race because every point will matter if there's only 2 Grand Prix. So could give us a cracking season. Chris Medland over on Twitter have been told the Australian Grand Prix is off, expecting an official statement within an hour. Oh, what? So it looks like it is off. Thank you very much to Paul, like I say, over on PayPal. No message, just thanks for doing the stream. Can be tough for the freelance media when it's all up in the air. No problem at all. I am literally just relaying what I see. But like I say, waffling away to myself anyway, so I might as well do it to you guys. At least then I don't look quite so crazy. If anyone walks in and hears me talking to myself, like Sean's lost it. No, I'm not. I'm streaming. Leave me alone. Thank you very much as well to Almonds. That's not what we call you, is it? But yeah, I don't know how about you lads, but I'll grab Liz, go to Winchester, have a nice cold pint and wait for all this to blow over. That line has been doing the rounds, hasn't it? So thank you very much, guys, for your contribution on PayPal. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, nobody has to, obviously. Total choices, but yeah. I don't know what I said there. Total choices? I have a phrase. Just having a quick check here. A few people tweeting at me. David over on Twitter sharing Pablo's tweet said, this is probably how we ended up here. F1. Australia will make a decision, not our problem. Australia. F1 will make a decision, not our problem. FIA. F1 and Australia will make a decision, not our problem. You can have a like and a retweet because that is kind of why we are. Yeah, very, very good. But according to Chris Medland, it's off. So we are just waiting now for official confirmation. WTF1 tweeting that their head, I think, is about to explode. As far as some people say in chat that they're not saying it's off anymore, that it's on. Sky Sports. Sebring as well. Yes, it is indeed, Jonty. Good shout. I forgot to mention that one. Yeah, they've taken that post down about it being, there you go. Yeah, so that's been, I think we are postponed, at least. Do not quote me on that. Do not go out there going, well, F1 word said it was postponed, because I'm not a journalist, okay? I am not. But the fact that the BBC is saying it's off, and I think Chris Medland, I trust him a lot and respect him a lot. He's saying it's off. And the fact Sky have now taken that page down saying it's on tells me that we're about to lose the Australian Grand Prix. And like I say, they're going to call it a postponement. don't get too, don't you dare, Alexander. Don't get too excited that we might see it rescheduled because Man City v Real Madrid postponed. That's no great surprise. But yeah, don't get too excited about postponement. And will it be rescheduled? A couple of things to remember in this situation. Number one, as I said earlier, it's already impossible to reschedule China pretty much. So they're not going to be able to get another race in there. But also, Albert Park is a temporary track. So I think if it doesn't go ahead this weekend, we won't see an Australian Grand Prix, which I know it doesn't offer up the same decent racing that we get at some tracks. And we often get a bit of a damp squib after all the excitement of pre-season. But I do like the Albert Park as the opening race. There's just something about it. Been since '96. So that's just how I've grown up. So yeah. Ugh, cold Lemsip. Sorry. It's disgusting when it's warm. Yes. And by the way, I have a cold. I assume I don't have coronavirus. I don't know. I have a cold. It's okay. Just a sore throat. So getting over it. Could have been. There you go. So yeah, City Real Madrid. That is confirmed as cancelled. That's what we do know. Yes, please do drop a like on the stream as well, guys. That would be appreciated. Like I said, a bit impromptu. Just coming over for a waffle with you guys more than anything. 503 of likes, so I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Sean has corona. I don't. It is genuinely, it's just a cold. I've been here before. I think my other half had it. Who knows? This is the thing with coronavirus. We've got all these figures, haven't we? And, 100,000 this and 10,000 that and all of these things. That's just people confirmed. People could have had mild symptoms like a runny nose or something. I don't know if that's a symptom, but they might have just had like a bit of a rough old time of it, a rough couple of days, and they could have had it and not said anything because who reports a cold to their doctor? So yeah, we'll see. BBC website apparently still saying it's cancelled. There you go. Thank you very much. Everyone's putting F, and then I've got get well soon, Sean. Thank you very much. I'm okay. It's absolutely fine. I know runny nose isn't a symptom. I was being facetious. I'm going to wait for you guys to catch up with taking the mickey out of me for having a cold now. Is the race cancelled? We don't know. BBC is saying it is. Sky were saying it isn't, but they've now posted something. Removed the post that said that. So it's looking like it is. There you go. Breaking news. That's come from motorsport.com. Is that reliable? Hang on. High-level sources have revealed, so we're still waiting for official words. So according to Jonathan Noble over at motorsport.com, the Australian Grand Prix is set to be called off following a team meeting in Melbourne on Friday night. High-level sources have revealed. Sources indicate that the governing body said it would accept a majority decision of the team, so would now move to call off the event. So that is still sources and apparently and Pete's mate down the pub and all of that. Nothing official from F1, but it looks as though it is set to be cancelled. I think once you get the likes of Motorsport and Chris Medland and that starting to say it's off, then I think it's off. But again, nothing official. I will stay live until we get something official. And then I'll go away and try and work out what the flipping hell I'm going to do with content this week and possibly next week and possibly for the next 8 weeks or whatever it's going to turn out to be. We'll see. I think quarantine. I still think McLaren are going to be in trouble for Bahrain, I really, really do. Because if one member of that team, we don't know how many people they've been in contact with at McLaren. If it's more than a handful, then McLaren are going to have multiple people or a huge number of people in quarantine for 2 weeks, and Bahrain is a week away. 10 days till we race. So I made a joke on Twitter yesterday about putting Planet Zoo content on the channel. It might have to bloody happen. We'll just, as somebody said, we'll just name all the animals after Formula One drivers. At least then it's remotely Formula One related and people can moan but can't moan. So yeah, we'll see. Apparently, James Stacey saying 2 members on Haas have it too. I've not seen that. The last I read was that all Haas members that have been tested had tested negative. There is also that concern over the false negative people were talking about before. So yeah, even testing negative doesn't necessarily mean anything now, does it? So Sky just on the whole Man City Real Madrid postponement thing. Zero X Fusion Z, did you hear the creators of Planet Zoo are making an F1 management game in 2022? I did, mate. Good to see you with us. Yeah, very much looking forward to that one. I've been poking around. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, yeah. There you go. And I've seen, actually, Zero, that you're starting up an F1 channel, so we might have to get you on a stream or anything if we do some more in the year. Say hi properly or whatever. Just put pressure on you there. Why not? 3 people apparently on... I'm going to go to Haas. People are telling me I'm getting 6 different things. I should wait for official word, really. Nothing from Haas on any more on a coronavirus, just that the 4 people that were tested have tested negative, so we'll see. I'm not going to read that, but yeah, I'd give it to them. Why not? You did indeed pick an interesting time, mate, to make an F1 channel. Sort of pointless now, but yeah, no. We will get races this season. Just give you all time to clip that out, and then you can go and throw that in my face at the end of the year. We've had no races, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get some races this season. They might end up being non-championship events, but you know, F1 runs until the end of November. There's a long way to go yet. This virus, without falling into the media tactics of trying to scare the crap out of everybody, and I think in some ways rightly so, that people are being, you know, awareness has been raised and people have been told this is serious. It's not just the flu. But without getting into that scare thing, this could get worse. This could get ridiculously worse. We could all end up with it, and by the end of the year, it's been a bloody disaster, and we go into 2021 and go, well, thank God that was over. Or we could get to the summer and it's all calmed down and everything can kind of get back to some kind of normality. Anybody out there panic buying loo roll? Stop it. Stop it. Worst case scenario, there are other ways to clean your backside. Simple as that. There's no need for stuff like that, but everyone's panicked and it's absolutely crazy, and I'm here trying to cover F1. There we go. But I think it looks as though we are about to lose Australia. Nothing official. The race, by the way, not the country, as far as I know, is still there. But it is set to be cancelled. It does look like we're going to be losing the Australian Grand Prix. Vietnam's still up in the air. We've already lost China, of course. So I think, what do we do with Bahrain? I mean, it's behind closed doors. McLaren maybe won't be able to race. So will the other teams... In some ways, it would be nice if the other 9 teams stood with McLaren and were like, you know, they've got a case of coronavirus. It's not their fault, F1. Why are we going racing? It would be nice to see that, but this is F1. It's a business at the end of the day, and I think that's ultimately why this decision has been left till last minute. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of because of the business side of it. They're kind of leaving it till the last possible second, and they are really leaving it until the last possible second. 4:10 in the UK. We're not far away from FP1. I moved on to Australia time as well. That's going to be a fun weekend, catching up again, isn't it? But anyway, this weekend has not been F1's finest hour. That's from Jenny Gow. Sources tell BBC's Andrew Benson the race is off. So do we all go home now? Do we self-isolate? Do we wait to see if more people test positive? Left asking a lot of questions tonight. This is what is frustrating people. This is what's, you know, I'm sat here telling you what Andrew Benson is saying, what Jenny Gow's saying, what Luke Smith is saying. I couldn't tell you what F1 are saying. In fact, no, I can. I'm lying to you. I can tell you exactly what F1 are saying. Formula One and the FIA have been coordinating with all the relevant authorities on the next steps. Our priority is the safety of fans, the teams, and all personnel at the race. That was earlier today. Great. Thanks for the information. We could have told you that. That's just reworded the FIA statement. It's been about for 3 weeks. It's not so many media we're relying on, and you know, this is the other side, isn't it, of this whole argument. You've got independent freelance journalists, and that's kind of the same thing, independent freelance, but you've got freelance journalists who rely on this for a living, who potentially now are going to have nothing. It's a concern. It's a concern for. It's those that I feel for. It's freelance journalists. It's the fans who are paying for tickets and hotels and booking time off work and all of that. And it's all just. I feel so sorry for them, because this is a decision that should have been taken much sooner. It really is. Apparently, Matt Gallagher from WTF1 telling us it's cancelled. He's a good guy. We like Matt, but he's not a journalist either. I'll wait for official word from F1. He's a top lad, but I'm not going to take his word on a cancellation. We'll wait for F1 official. But Matt Gallagher is saying it's off, so yeah. It's not official till it's F1 word official. I wouldn't say that. I feel like there's a song in there. Put that to S Club Party by S Club 7. Yeah, please don't. It does also mean we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see the F1 theme video, by the way, which I was not a fan of at all. I like all the history stuff in it. If you've not seen it, it's doing the rounds on Twitter. It was leaked. The new F1 intro. I liked all the history stuff behind it, but I just don't. It's just a bit boring. I don't like the way it ends, but yeah. Anyway. Getting sensible official word from F1 or the FIA is like trying to pull your own teeth with a nail clipper. That's a very good comment and probably true. The chain did work well and it blew me. There was an edited version from late breaking that went round. Sebring, yeah, that's been cancelled. 12 hours of Sebring. A few people making jokes now about Matt Gallagher signing for the FIA. So, yeah. Ops said, I came here because of lack of work. Oh, that sucks. Is that a reporter or something related to F1, or is it something else that's been affected by coronavirus? Don't have to tell me. I'm not being massively nosy, just intrigued. Sorry to hear that, though, mate. That sucks. That really sucks. It's people like you that are going to suffer at the end of the day while the FIA mess about with their decision-making process or lack of it. FIA statement is apparently live. Let's go and have a look. Let's go to FIA.com. Still nothing on the FIA.com website, but that doesn't mean they've not tweeted it. And they're superb with stuff like this. Nothing in my inbox either just yet. I'll keep an eye out. I will keep an eye out. Still telling us they're monitoring the situation. I think we are. A few people just saying, yeah. People just saying that why can't it be held behind closed doors? I think we're beyond that now, aren't we, really? I think the problem is that McLaren won't be able to race. So it's, it is. It's pointed out in chat there. 3 a.m. in Melbourne it is. But there's talk that there's supposed to be a statement in the next hour. I think the teams and... do you know what, actually? I think the fact the teams, the FIA, F1, and all the media are still up probably tells you that nothing's happening tomorrow. Or today, in Oz. That's confusing. Yeah. Nothing on Sky Sports either, no. I think we're just waiting for official word. But they did say they would cancel any track if not all teams could show up. That's from Just Cows. Just to confirm that one from Ross Brawn, what he was saying is if teams can't get to a race because of travel restrictions as a result of coronavirus, the race wouldn't go ahead or wouldn't go ahead as a championship event. They didn't say anything about a team pulling out. It was McLaren's choice, but it's not a choice they've taken. They've not... If they'd have turned around and said, we've got coronavirus, we're still going to race, then people would go absolutely mental at them. It was the right decision from McLaren. That was absolutely the right decision. And I'll stand by them in that decision. I think that was the right call, a sensible call. But yeah, it's just... It'd be nice if the other 9 teams stood with them. It's nobody's fault, so... Nothing yet for Will Buxton, not saying much. Still waiting for official word. I'm going to keep refreshing the FIA site. Like I say, I'll stay with you all live while we wait for the official news. But again, if you are just tuning in, getting in from school or work or anything like that, it looks as though we're about to lose the Australian Grand Prix for 2020. Motorsport reporting it's been cancelled. Obviously, Autosport, therefore, reporting it's cancelled. They're the same people. Chris Medland tweeting it looks like it's cancelled. BBC have said it's cancelled. Sky Sports did say it was going ahead, but they've now backtracked on that. So their source is not reliable for a change. Yeah. So at the moment, it looks like we're losing the Australian Grand Prix. No race this weekend. There are going to be big doubts over the Bahrain Grand Prix. So don't think this is all going to go away overnight. This is something that's going to be talked about over the next few days and over the next week massively. I just hope, if there is any doubt over Bahrain, they make a decision before next Thursday afternoon, because it's ridiculous that we're still, it's Friday morning in Australia. Practice is hours away, and we're still waiting for official word. So let's hope they're a bit more proactive over Bahrain and proactive over Vietnam. There was talk that there'd be a statement on Sunday regarding Vietnam. So yeah. a lot of people critical of F1. I can completely understand it. I'll keep an eye on Twitter. I'll come to your comments in chat again, though. Like I say, going to be gutting as an F1 fan, isn't it, to not have a racing fan, just to not have any racing, not just here, but sports fans as well. There's be nothing to watch. We're all going to have to talk to family. No, fine, I'll go on the game or something. I'm not doing that. This news is so intriguing. I even made a Twitter account just to get TweetDeck and look like a badass, said Max Claydon. TweetDeck's a fantastic piece of software, I guess. Don't cancel the season, just declare that a settlement has been reached. Should have read that first. Proclaiming Ferrari 2020 Constructors Champion and Vettel and Leclerc co-drivers champion, and everyone goes home. There you go. According to multiple senior sources, that is what the BBC is saying. So yes, but yeah. Sim Racing and Football Manager is perfect. If the race counts for the title, it will be a scandal. It doesn't look like it's going ahead. So again, people going, oh, it's been cancelled, but I'm waiting for official word. Where are we? An hour ago, I was telling you that Sky Sports were reporting the race was going ahead. So it looks like it's off, but until I get official word from the FIA, I'm not going to sit here and say it is off. Yes, super chat. Don't know why I needed a slightly high-pitched voice, but you got it. This is from J Demo. Thank you very much for your contribution, mate. It says, hi, I'm in Australia, and I've had a look at the Australian Grand Prix website for the Albert Park Grand Prix, and they're saying it's going ahead. That's been their line, hasn't it, through all of this? So we'll wait and see. George Atkin Hill says, my family are all in self-isolation whilst I'm stuck at uni without them. This is serious, even in the UK. Let us not joke. No, it's incredibly serious. I'm so sorry, mate, that you're isolated. That's not nice. I wouldn't. No, I joke about my family and not wanting to talk to them, but I wouldn't want to be in a position where I couldn't talk to them, or not talk to them, but visit them. So I'm sorry you're going through that, mate. That sucks. But it is serious. People constantly, I don't want to get into this. I'm trying to stick with F1 and sport the best I can, but so many people going, oh, it's just the flu. It's like, educate yourself. Yeah, it's not just the flu. If it was just the flu, we'd all have been vaccinated and we'd all be bloody fine, wouldn't we? So, it's not. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. Again, the race just tweeting, the Australian Grand Prix will not happen this weekend. Multiple sources confirm the race is off. Still nothing from the FIA. Again, relying on those other sources. So let's take some questions then. F1 related or not, I don't mind. If you don't want to, you can ask me anything, really. Well, that was stupid, wasn't it? Obviously, anything too personal, I'm not going to answer. But yeah, ask me anything. I'll answer some of those, and I will keep an eye on what's going on. Wait for an FIA statement, an official one. Patrick says, how's life? It's all right. Not much changing, just kind of sitting around waiting for F1, to be honest, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that one now. But yeah, all good. Thank you very much, Patrick. I hope you're well as well. What's your favourite type of beer? I don't really drink beer. Not really. I don't really drink beer, weirdly. Do like a bit of Southern Comfort, some lime and lemonade. Yeah, a bit of Jack Daniels as well, but not really a beer drinker. I do like cider. Will the Italian Grand Prix be cancelled, says Joel? I mean, guessing no, because that's in September. But also, what I would say is that, again, we are just hours away from practice and we still don't know if we're racing this weekend. So I think, yeah, I think that is probably the biggest concern. If you're looking into the future of races, I think Italy's the one that's got the big question mark on it, but some would argue every single one. Every single one's got a question mark on it. Individual one says, where in the UK are you? I'm in Lincoln, right at the top of Steep Hill. Daniel M, thank you very much, says AGBC website says currently in discussion. So thank you very much for that one, mate. Appreciate it. Was there any more to that? No, thank you very much for your contribution. What would Bernie do? Probably about as much as the FIA and F1 are doing right now, and then go ahead anyway because he doesn't want to lose some money. Cirrus22, so what about the Vietnam Grand Prix? Still up in the air. There's talk that it's going to get called off, but we don't know for sure. There was a meeting in Hanoi yesterday with Chase Carey and officials, and we still don't know what the outcome of that was. There was some talk we'd hear by Sunday, though. Twigster13, thank you very much, mate. He says, do you think F1 should cancel Australia? I think they should now. I think we're at that point. But equally, I want to see racing. Like I say, sensible head, cancel it. Sporting head, let's go racing. I want to see it. It's been too long. I get it, though. I get the position they're in. Do you think the Netherlands could be the first race? That's from Franz. I know Thomas on the Patreon Discord server is desperate for that to go ahead because I think he's bought tickets for it. So fingers crossed for you, mate, if you're watching. But it's looking possible. If you'd have asked me that 6 weeks ago, I'd have said probably not. We'd still have got something at the start of the season. But I think now we're looking at a situation where, yeah, it could well be. And would that be a bad... Would suck to have to wait a couple more months. Of course it would. But would it be terrible? Drop the flyaways, make sure everything's okay, and then go racing in Zandvoort? Could well be. Just check Twitter quickly. I will come back to your comments, don't worry. Still nothing official. The race have already read their thing. So, yep. Nothing official. 2 conflicting reports still. So, still waiting on that one. I will let you know, though. As soon as it comes out, I will let you know. Let's scroll down a bit further, see if we've got any other comments coming in. What car do you drive? I've got a Vauxhall Astra. Hey. Hardcore. Not even like a decent one either. It's an 09 plate. It's knackered. But it does all right. It gets me from A to B. That's all that matters. The Daily Snail. Sean. But would it be terrible? Me. Yes. Yes, it would, Sean. How come McLaren withdrew? That's from Cameraphobia, I think I will say that as. One of their team members tested positive for coronavirus. There were 5 in quarantine or in isolation, 4 from Haas, 1 from McLaren. 4 from Haas tested negative, but the McLaren member tested positive, and so the team decided to withdraw. Actually, I'll tell you what, because we are at that point. Have a sip of my drink. Craig Slater just having a chat there to Sky, so maybe we're about to get some news, but I'm just waiting for something official. But what I'll do, if you are just coming in or just joining us, this is McLaren's statement from earlier today saying that McLaren Racing have confirmed this evening in Melbourne that it has withdrawn from the 2020 Formula 1 Australian Grand Prix following the positive test of a team member for the coronavirus. The team member was tested and self-isolated as soon as they started to show symptoms and will now be treated by local healthcare authorities. The team has prepared for this eventuality and has ongoing support in place for its employee, who will now enter a period of quarantine. The team is cooperating with the relevant local authorities to assist their investigations and analysis. Zach Brown and Andreas Seidel informed Formula One and the FIA of the decision this evening. The decision has been taken based on a duty of care not only to McLaren F1 employees and partners, but also to the team's competitors, Formula One fans, and wider F1 stakeholders. Sky again with some breaking news. The Australian Grand Prix, according to Sky, is off. They're going to tell you that that's from sources. They've read that on the BBC. So Sky reporting it's off. Now, having an hour and a half ago or whatever reported that it was on. So there you go. But again, check the FIA. No official word. But I would argue, tell me I'm crazy, but I would argue that the BBC, Sky, Chris Medland, Jenny Gow, who obviously works for the BBC as well, as a number, Luke Smith as well, John Noble, all saying that it's off. So I think given that relatively reliable sources as well as the BBC and Sky are reporting it's cancelled, I think we can assume it is done. But I'm still going to wait for official word because you just never know, do you? Matthew Summerfield. Apparently the quote from Ross Brawn, I didn't see that part of the quote. It says, if a team makes its own choice not to go to race, that's their decision. So if that's a true quote, I'm not going to say it isn't, but if that's a true quote from Ross Brawn, that answers that question. If McLaren aren't racing, tough. They would go racing anyway. But I think this is more about the fact that there's coronavirus confirmed in the paddock. I think that's what the issue is here. We've had one confirmed. And so obviously that's now concern over how many people they've come into contact with, and it's things like a Ferrari. No, just to confirm, no Ferrari team member has tested positive for coronavirus. But let's say somebody did. If they work on the engine side, they could be in the garages of Haas and Alfa Romeo at some point checking, I don't know, engine integration or whatever, power unit, integration or whatever. That instantly puts Alfa and Haas at risk, and you could end up in that situation where you lose 3 teams. So it's all so intertwined, the paddock. It's so close constantly throughout the year. So one person gets it and it could easily spread like, well, wildfire, which isn't, again, the best analogy when we talk about the Australian Grand Prix, but you get the point I'm making. It's an analogy. But again, official word, nothing official. Reports, it's off. That's it. Sam says time to panic buy at supermarkets. It's crazy, isn't it? I get people's concern, but how long do you think you're self-isolating for if you need 7,000 toilet rolls? You know, that's a lot of time. Do you know what I mean? Are you locking yourself away forever? Crazy. 8 hours, 32 minutes till FP1, says Alice Little. That just kind of puts into context just how mad this is that we're still waiting. And we're only hours away from practice. I mean, again, you know, they've left it till late. Is that because they had to leave it till late? Till last minute. So, yeah. Of course, MotoGP. Yes, thank you, Carl. Actually, just mentioning MotoGP there in your comment. They've pushed loads of things back. There's going to be a lot of stuff, isn't there, in November by the sounds of it. I think that's just something on the golf there. That's going to be played behind effectively closed doors, even though there's probably no doors, but you get the point. I'm reading your comments, just letting it slow down a minute and catch up so I can read a couple of your comments out, see what you guys are saying. Rudy says, my guess, Canada for season opening. That would be June, wouldn't it? Do you know, actually, I don't want to get into the realms of like speculation and believing what I read on Twitter, but somebody told me earlier, or said earlier, that they'd heard that there'd be no racing till June. That would coincide with that. Doesn't mean that's true. Do not take that as any kind of gospel. Just telling you what I've been reading. I know universities are closing across the world. It's crazy. So crazy. F1 Fan 89 says, remember to give Sean a big like spike, guys. Come on, like. Yes, please do smash that like button and subscribe as well if you're new. I'd love to sit here and tell you I know what I'm doing now, but I don't. In theory, we're looking at the next lot of race content anyway, being next weekend, we can assume, but I'll probably do a little roundup of this stream of what I've said with the official news and a news video, probably to go out Saturday or something, but yes, no idea. But please do hit that like button and also sub as well. That'd be massively appreciated. We're on the road to 100k. Maybe something positive today to talk about. There you go. Could be run behind closed doors. I think that if the race goes ahead, I think that's what they'll have to do. But again, it looks as though, according to reports, I hate saying it, I'm just going to say it looks as though it's off. It looks as though we're off, so there you go. If season is cancelled, will fans get refunds, says Lisa Barton? I honestly have no idea. I would like to think so. It's not the fans' fault, all of this, is it, at all? So I think there probably ought to be, but if it all comes down to money, we'll see. Jordan Tinkler, good afternoon, mate. Good to see you in chat. Says, I've been so excited. Now I'm like, what do I do now? Yeah, it could be a week. We could get some racing next week. We might not get anything till Zandvoort. We'll see. Oh, we'll see, not we'll say. People just letting me know. I know, yeah, Sky have reported that it's off, but still no official word from the FIA, and that's what we're waiting for. So, again, to confirm, BBC and Sky saying it's over. It's not happening. We are not having an Australian Grand Prix. The FIA are saying, oh, should we have another coffee? Or something like that. James says, on a lighter note, what's your favourite brand of cereal? Cocoa Pops, because I'm 33 but mentally 6. I do like my Cocoa Pops. And then other end of the spectrum, I am partial to a bit of porridge, but is that a cereal? I think it sort of is, isn't it? But yeah, oats, yeah, maybe. If this season gets cancelled, will teams start working on their 2021 cars? That's from Mechanised Chaos. Absolutely, they'll be straight into it. I did wonder, actually, sort of pondering to myself last night, if they were to getting into the realms of total speculation here, but if they did cancel the season, do you reckon they push back the 2021 regs to 2022 and use this year's cars that should have been raced this year next year to try and offset some of the financial woes that Williams and that are going to go through if the season were called off? Because obviously they'd be in a lot of trouble sponsorship-wise, wouldn't they? And they wouldn't be getting prize money. So cancel this season, maybe let them just run this year's car next year, and then it seems like Williams and Haas aren't going to get hit by having to develop a new car with no money coming in. So could work. That could be a possibility, but I think 2021 is pretty much set in stone. Although as far as I know, nobody's signed a Concord agreement yet. So officially, as of right now, we have no teams next year. But given that a lot of people are already starting work on their cars and are talking about next year, I think most people are going to sign up. There's, I think, a big question mark over Haas. Might decide to call it a day after this season. I don't think Gene Haas is feeling he's getting much value for money out of it, and he doesn't really want to pay out his backside if he's going to be fighting for 17th and 18th place every weekend. So, yeah, we'll see. I think they'll go straight to 2021 cars if it all gets called off. But I still think we will get some racing, even if it is after the summer break. I think we will see something. That's just my opinion. We'll see, but we don't know, do we? I'm sat here now and we're talking about a situation. I mean, they're still advertising practice now on Sky for Formula One, so nobody has an official word just yet. But everyone's reporting that Australia's off. So I think we can safely say that is not going to be going ahead. But I'll wait for the statement so I can read it all to you. But yeah, been going for an hour and a half now, so one of those testing style streams. I think wait till the summer break, worst case scenario maybe. You think maybe? And then assess then. But I still think cancel the 4 flyaways and aim for Zandvoort and make a decision from there. You know, a week or so before. But yeah, it is weird that they're still advertising it with all the uncertainty. That's not I got excited then. That's on Jakarta, the Formula E race that was postponed. It's just scrolling through its wonderful statements. We're getting conflicting stuff again, just for a change. Yeah. I'm just having a scroll through Twitter. Sorry, if I go quiet. Yes, Varun, I do like pineapple on a pizza. I'm one of those weirdos. Jay says we don't get a refund. Seriously? That would suck. Not your fault. The race isn't going ahead, is it? That's crazy. But yeah, still no news. Again, as people have pointed out in chat, you know, there's some people saying expecting a statement within the hour, and then you guys in chat are saying, well, just remember it is early hours of the morning in Australia, so it might be that we don't hear anything till tonight. So we'll see. But if we've not heard anything soon, I'll probably call the stream off and leave it there. I will make a decision. Either way, like the FIA messing about, probably just trying to word the statement. To be honest, you know, I think we're gonna be, oh, well, you know. I'm not going to say that. No, I'm not. I'm not going to say it. Ovi and Ari are like, nah, I'll leave it. What are you guys saying in chat? Let's have a look then. Look, I like pineapple on a pizza, all right. I'm weird. Keep Bahrain because it's no spectators. That's Italian Sky saying that it's been cancelled. A Doctor Who YouTube says no article on Sky Sports. Andras says if there's no refund, that could be illegal. Who is infected? Says Repulse Edits. It's a McLaren team, but we don't know who, but it's a McLaren team personnel tested positive for coronavirus. So whatever happens, it looks like we are losing the Australian Grand Prix. Sky are reporting it now. BBC are reporting it. We're just waiting for that official statement. But I think even if the race had gone ahead, we know for a fact that McLaren would not be racing. So there you go. Which F1 circuits did you visit? Says Exhausty. All time, I went to Donington, but that was for the collection. And Silverstone. That's it. How boring is that? That's boring, isn't it? I need to get everything sorted and go do some travelling next year once all this is sorted. Maybe get some... I'd like to do Spa. I'd like to do Monza. Obviously not right now. I'd like to do Monza and Spa. Kind of would like to go to the Hungaroring as well. I've heard Budapest is a pretty beautiful city. So make a weekend of it and really enjoy it. I'll make a week of it even, go on a proper holiday to Budapest. That'd be cool. I think, yeah. I wouldn't mind going to Kota either, and I'd definitely like to go to Montreal for Canada, but only Donington as a past track and Silverstone as a current track. So there you go. What is the Concord Agreement? The Concord Agreement is the commercial agreement effectively between the teams and Liberty Media. Outlines everything. I think financial and everything's in there as well. So essentially that. Are you going to come and race in our series? Yes, please. Pop your signature here is pretty much the short of it. Zero X Fusion Z, or Fusions. Is it Fusions or Fusion Z? I don't know. I'm just going to use Zero. I've actually never been to a race yet. No idea why. I've only been to Silverstone twice, to be fair. 2016 and 2018. I didn't go last year. I'm supposed to be going this year. Yes, Exhausty. Austria, I'd love to go to the A1. Not the A1 ring, is it? The Red Bull ring now. But yeah, I was supposed to be going this year, but I'm holding off on buying the tickets for obvious reasons. I'm not going to go and spend an absolute fortune on British Grand Prix tickets and then have to have a fight to get my money back. So we'll wait and see with that one. But if not, it'll be next year. The drivers are asleep, hopefully, says Tunatastic. They better be. Just in case. Just in case. Zero is what I'm calling most time. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Österreich Ring says F1 Fan 89. You're going back even further than me. There you go. David's been to Singapore in 2014. I bet that was cool. What is your favourite cheese? Oh, Stilton. Got a little bit of Stilton. What do you think of the Norwegian F3 rookie Dennis? Is it Hauger? I don't think I've seen anything of him, to be honest. I will make a note of that name. Hauger, something like that. Yeah, I'll have a look at that name. I'm not sure, actually. I've not seen anything of him. So if we get some racing this season in F3, I'll keep an eye out for him. But I did do for Yuri Vips, and now I seem to know too much about Yuri Vips, which is bizarre. There you go. Again, news outlets reporting it's cancelled. FIA doing nothing. I mean, maybe the FIA have just gone to bed. Maybe they've gone, I'll talk to them in the morning. I don't know, but it looks like it's postponed. I think we can say it is, isn't it? But we'll see. Is there an F2 driver I've got my eye on? Yes, Robert Schwartzman, but not really got my eye on him because I've had my eye on him for a while. But in terms of this field, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Mick Schumacher versus Schwartzman in that Prema. That's going to be very exciting. I said it in the testing streams quite a lot. I think that's a shootout for a potential alpha seat in 2021 should Kimi disappear. Oh, no. If you've got the FIA website open, it like scrolls through all its statements, and I keep thinking that they're new statements, but they're not. And I got all excited then. We're getting some news. But yeah, I'll do a recap of the situation in just a moment. Take a few more comments before I do that, though. I know people are going to be joining and leaving all the time. So, yes. Not bad considering it wasn't a live stream for a while, is it? It's been like a week. Something like that. So, I just can't get rid of the live stream bug. It's crazy. Honestly, it just felt easier. I was toying with doing a video for this, but with everything evolving so quickly, that video would have been deleted and restarted multiple times. So I thought a live stream was the best way to go. So there we go. It's easier to waffle to you guys as well. What is your favourite track? Spa, probably. But I am a big fan of Montreal, and I'm a big fan of Sao Paulo, or Interlagos, rather. So yeah, those two, or those three, definitely. People saying Sebring cancelled. Yeah, that was confirmed early today, wasn't it? We've got the NBA off until further notice. La Liga off for 2 weeks. In some ways, I think, like I say, there was an air of an inevitability, wasn't there, on this one. Arthur Fry wants the latest. We're still waiting. The absolute latest word is that it is being reported from high-level sources that the Australian Grand Prix has been postponed, but we still don't have an official word from the FIA. That comes following the news earlier today that McLaren would not be racing. They withdrew from the Grand Prix after one of their team personnel tested positive for coronavirus. But in positive news, or not positive news, that was the wrong word, in good news or better news, the 4 team members of Haas who were in isolation tested negative for the virus, or a negative. It was a negative test. Whether you believe the negative test or not, I don't know, but that's what it was. So yes, at the moment, that is all we know. We're just really waiting on this decision, official decision, even though it looks like it's been taken. Still also waiting in the UK for Boris, or Bojo, as I'm calling him, because I can't be bothered to say Boris, Bojo, to make his decision, which whether we're going into lockdown or whatever. See how far we're going to go with that one. Probably not. We're British. There'll be people here who aren't from the UK who are like, oh, the bloody British. We are. We're so British. Like, well, keep calm and carry on. It's like, okay. Tell Steve that, who's just bought 9,000 toilet rolls. So, yeah, I'll keep refreshing Twitter. I'll keep looking out for your comments. If you see anything that I haven't, please do give me a shout. How is Ferrari going to improve their car if they can't go to Italy? That's from Tim. Genuinely, I was sort of thinking that earlier this morning when I was sat refreshing Twitter. I was sort of thinking, even if we go racing in Australia and Bahrain, after that, there's no guarantee that Ferrari can get home, is there? So if they can't, I think they were talking about doing charter flights to get back, and I think they'd have some kind of special, maybe exemption's the wrong word, but that if they go there, they have the right to travel. But I still think you'd have to be in a quarantine period. I don't know for sure. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it, for teams like Ferrari, AlphaTauri as well, of course, Pirelli. I know they've got people, they've got bases in other places in the world, but they are essentially based in Italy, so big problems there. There is even a Haas personnel based in Italy because of the Ferrari side of things, so it'd be difficult to see how they would get back. And maybe that's something F1 need to consider as well. From a fairness and I know F1 isn't necessarily fair, but from a fairness and a competitive point of view, maybe going ahead with things whilst teams can't go back and develop other things and change things and whatnot with their car is a little bit unfair. But we'll see. That's all I can say at the moment. It is literally. If you've been with me over on Twitter and whatnot today, this has been almost a minute by minute developing thing. It's just been all over the place today, and now we're literally just waiting on the official word, but it looks as though the Australian Grand Prix has been postponed. Officially, the FIA are still monitoring the situation, is their word. So Daily Mail says it's off. Must be true then. I'm joking, but yeah, I think it is. Looks like it. Dennis Hauger's basically won anything he's competed in. He will be the first Norwegian F1 driver ever. Oh, thank you very much. I would definitely keep an eye on him. I might go look for some YouTube videos later. Feel free on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, of course, to whiz me some YouTube clips on him if you want. Still nothing official on the Formula E either, but I think that is off until May, given the drivers are talking about it. I know this is a Formula 1 channel, but worth a mention. Rugby union season, the Pro 14 has just been suspended, or has been suspended, rather. Yeah. What a mess. What a mess. But we will see. They should do the racing sim, says Drab Hand. Tell you what then, that's what I'm going to throw at you now, chap. Yes or no, if the Formula 1 season can't run until, I don't know, let's say June, for argument's sake, would you like, or do you fancy the idea of seeing F1 esports or somebody like a Veloci doing simulated seasons with either drivers or like official drivers would be cool, but if not, just their esports drivers, just something to fill the gap? Or would you much rather go and watch EastEnders? I mean, yes. There you go. So yeah, basically that was a pointless. I kind of knew the answer to that before I went for it. You can watch EastEnders if you want. Do both. Multiple streams. Whilst you're all saying yes, and the odd one saying nah or no, thank you very much to Robert McPhee. I read surname. Sorry if you don't want your surname reading, dude. Didn't mean to do that. But yeah, Robert, for your contribution over on PayPal. What have you said, mate? Have you put a message? No, but thank you very much. Appreciate that one. That's cool. I should leave that in my PayPal account for emergencies. Put it towards the mic total that we were saving for in testing, which is safely locked away in my savings account for when I can get to when I get to a shop is probably where we're going with this one. But yeah, when I've decided what mic I'm getting and when I've got all things cleared. So yeah, I did put a message and to think I decided to get the Now TV Sports Pass last week so I could watch all the races and additional sport. Well, that's 200 I'm not getting back. Oh, you pay for the full season. I didn't read that right. Oh, well, whole season's in trouble now. Oh, dude, that sucks. And you can't get it back? Is it not non-refundable? Oh, sorry, mate. That's awful. That's the other thing. People are paying out money to watch the series behind a or to watch the sport behind a paywall, and Formula 1 and FIA are messing about. People are spending money. Or is that the point? The longer they leave it, the more money people spend. Anyway, let's not get into tinfoil hat territory just yet. I'm going to just double check everything. I'll come back to you guys in chat, and then I'll do an update for those that are just tuning in. So we're getting towards 5 o'clock UK time, so people are going to be heading home and whatnot soon. I mean, if you're just tuning in and you can't stick around, if you want the short story, chaos. We think we know. It's being reported that it's been called off, but nothing from the FIA again, as ever. Just watch IndyCar, says Rich. I think that's IndyCar are due an announcement soon, aren't they? To possibly postpone things. Again, that's a bit of speculation. I think there's due to be an announcement from them soon. Apparently it is non-refundable. That really does suck. What is your favourite video game? Fallout. Any Fallout, really. At the minute, I'm a bit obsessed with Planet Zoo. I've got to be honest. And I like my F1 game, you know, for a few laps on that, maybe a bit of FIFA, even though it sucks this year. Few games on that. I'm not good at anything. I'm not a gamer. There's people out there like, I'm amazing at gaming. I am not. Also, The Sims 4. Seems to be something I've gotten into totally randomly for no reason, so there we go. Even though compared to other Sims games, it sucks. Yes, even 76. I am very much looking forward to the Wastelanders DLC. Very, very much. I am one of the 7 people that like 76. Everything is going away, says Scott. It feels like that, doesn't it? It really, really does. The Players' Championship is to be played behind closed doors. That's golf, I believe. We know NBA's off. It looks like Australia's off. All the other races in Florida have been called off this weekend. That's from Phil Jones. Thank you very much, mate. Sean, you have great taste. Thank you very much, Harry. You are the only person who's ever said that to me. Usually it's like, oh, you suck. But yeah, appreciate that. Base reveal. Is that from Caden? I'm going to say K24 Den. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I keep talking about face reveal and people get saying, oh no, don't do face reveal. I like your videos the way they are. But I personally think at least you'd see when I'm being sarcastic. Which, to be fair, is 90% of the time. But yeah, there we go. IndyCar looks like it's going to get called off as well. That's from Will Brown. People talk about iRacing. Never played iRacing. It's something me and Jonty discussed briefly. I think after a chat with Ryan at some point. So I could do a leg reveal. I could indeed. Who's your favourite driver, past stroke current? If we're talking past, then Michael Schumacher. Massive Schumacher fanboy when I was younger. Right now, again, people don't believe me, but I don't really care. I don't have a favourite, so I just like watching the racing, definitely. Let's do an update then as we get towards 5 o'clock UK time. I'll do a normal refresh. But I think we've still got the Thursday press conference thing, which was a mixed bag, let's put it that way. Another quick check on Twitter before I do you an update. What's Gianluca saying? Kind of echoing what everybody else is saying from the media, that the FIA aren't telling them enough, and they're hoping for a bit more information in the press release, and it's not just the race is off. Isn't it crazy that the FIA there and Liberty Media are sort of responsible in some ways for everybody at these races, and they're not telling people what to do if a race is called off? Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. This talk of a statement within the hour doesn't look like it's coming, given that was an hour ago now, nearly. So we'll see. People say movies as well. But anyway, the updates. So if I'll go from the start of today, or yesterday really, it was confirmed that a number of team personnel, I believe 5, were put into isolation after showing signs of the coronavirus. All 5 of those were tested this morning. Lewis Hamilton stated that he was shocked that Formula One were going ahead with the race in Australia. Kimi Raikkonen echoed that, saying that he believes if it was drivers and teams, they wouldn't be racing. Also, Sebastian Vettel saying we need to trust the FIA, but also we're right to question why it's going ahead and all of that sort of thing. Then shortly after that, or later that morning, McLaren released a statement confirming that one of their team personnel has tested positive for coronavirus, and as a result, they were withdrawing from the Australian Grand Prix. So whatever happened from that point onwards, they weren't racing. McLaren were out. They were not going to be racing in Australia. That then led to a lot of speculation about what was going to happen next. There was a meeting, apparently. People got together for a meeting in Australia somewhere, in Melbourne, teams and some senior figures and all that, to make a decision. It was initially reported by Sky that the 9 teams had agreed to go racing without McLaren. However, it was very quickly, about half an hour later, I would say, so relatively quickly, reported by the BBC that the race was cancelled. Sky then took down their thing and changed it to postpone. So at the moment, the official word is that the race is going ahead, but the reports are telling us it's been called off. So we are still waiting for an official statement from the FIA. As I say that, no, still nothing official. But the reports are saying it's all over. So I think we are literally just waiting now for complete and total confirmation that the season is over. Not the season. No, the Australian Grand Prix is over. The season is not over. Jesus Christ. Scared the crap out of myself with that one. No, the season is not over. We would technically still go racing in a week's time in Bahrain. People saying it's official, but I've got nothing at the moment. Just something on IMSA, WEC. Nothing from FIA, nothing from F1. So as soon as it comes through, I think it is. I'd be surprised if all of a sudden the FIA come out and say it's done, that they're going to go racing. I'd be very surprised, but you're just tuning in, I guess. The best way to put it is Australia looks like it's off, which is, yeah, Boris Johnson giving a statement now. Max Claydon, Boris is speaking, guys. Shh. No, talk over him. Keep an eye. I'm not going to put the TV on. I don't want to ruin that for everybody and get copyright struck. But yes. Maybe a statement of 5, says Royal Harvey. That would be a good shout. We're nearly there, aren't we? So would sort of make sense in some respects. But again, it's still early hours in Australia, isn't it? Will that be 4 o'clock in the morning in Australia? So I've got this horrible feeling they're going to wait until about 7 a.m. Australian time. Don't know why. Motorsport still is at the same one as before. Has that been updated? No, the motorsport thing is still the same article that was up earlier, about an hour ago. It must be a timing thing. They must literally, they must be waiting for a specific reasonable time to do this. Because, like, you've got Motorsport saying that they've been told it's off. You've got the BBC, Sky, journalists like Chris Medland and co. all saying it's off. Surely the FIA just needs to come out and put a statement out now. Unless they're waiting for a specific thing. Like I say, maybe 7 a.m. or something like that when people are getting up. But you'd think they'd want to give everybody as much notice as possible on this one. Chris Medlin says, I know I should have known better than to put a time frame on it, especially based on how the whole situation has played out. I'm on the brink. I am going to come and take some more of your comments. Philip Barber says, how long are you streaming? I don't know. I think a couple of you said wait until it's official, stream till it's official, but I think we're kind of there. And I'm aware that I'm going to be annoying people with my waffle. So, but, whatever. I'm not going anywhere. I'd only be sat in here refreshing social media and whatnot anyway. So I'll wait till 5-ish. And then I'll take a few more of your comments as well. And we'll see where we're at that point. But the race, confidently now can say I think the race is postponed now, but we are just waiting for the flipping FIA to whatever. I don't know what they're doing. It's crazy. And I assume postponed. I assume the wording will be postponed. Like I say, I fully expect that it would be cancelled. Because I can't see how they're going to fit it in anywhere else in the year for two reasons. One, they can't even fit China in. And two, and probably more is the point, Australia, the Albert Park circuit is a temporary circuit. So I can't see. I can't see them saying break. I can't see them saying cancelled, but at the same time, yeah. Chainbear tweeting, solidarity with my freelance friends across sport, etc., who rely on these events for their income and are currently in a big limbo. Completely agree. That's what I was saying earlier, wasn't it? It's not fair on people, it's their jobs, but there you go. Health and safety first. It would just be nice if the FIA or somebody made a decision. Again, the decision may well have been taken. It looks like it has been, but if it has been taken, tell people. Most in F1 fans says, what if Netflix are there filming this? I'm sure I saw something earlier, Esteban Ocon recording something for season 3. So there you go. What's Boris said? I'll tell you what then. We're not going to go too political. This is, of course, an F1 channel, but we've covered everything here today. Why not? Just going to see if Boris has said anything of any interest other than... no, nothing on the thing just yet. He thinks he's still waffling away. We'll see. But if you're sports fans, if you watch stuff other than F1, we've got Man City's game against Real Madrid is off. The NBA is off until further notice. There's some golf tournament is, I think, off. It's essentially, if you're a sports fan, it's all off, really, at the moment. Yeah. Johnny Blonde. No, I'm bored, mate. Basically, pretty much there. NASCAR will run behind closed doors at Atlanta and Homestead. That's from Jonty. Thank you very much, mate. There you go. So that's all behind closed doors. I really want to change the title of the stream, but I want to wait for official stuff because I very much prefer doing that. Yeah. It's looking like it's done. Do some comments, and that's 1 minute past 5. We've not had anything official from the FIA. Nope, not yet. So we'll take some more comments. Why not? F1 97 is a good game. It is indeed. Which football team do you support? Man United. Boo, I know. NASCAR still has a race this weekend if we have nothing to watch. I might have to watch NASCAR for my racing fix. Have I ever watched any NASCAR? Or NASCAR? NASCAR? Probably one of those regional things. I don't know, but yeah. Let's see your place on F1 while we wait. That's from Zero. No. 2 reasons. 1, no. And secondly, I've not got everything set up for that, so I wouldn't be able to. Do you expect any mid-season driver changes? No. That's from Luke Mott. No. I don't this year, funnily enough. Although it's Red Bull. Who knows? They might decide to make a change. They might decide to bring somebody else in. If they're not happy with Fiat or Gasly or Albon or anything like that. But yeah, I don't at the moment. I didn't last year, though, when it all happened. So there you go. I do watch F2. That's Forza Ferrari asking me that one. I do definitely watch F2. Sometimes, not knocking F1, but sometimes it's some of the best racing we get all weekend is Formula 2. Baseball is the only sport that isn't cancelled, apparently. There you go. Will the F1 game come out? That's from Archie. I mean, I'd assume so. I don't know for sure. I'd assume so. Of course I don't know for sure. Why would I don't know for sure? You know I don't know for sure. I'm very much keeping an eye on Twitter as well. I'm just expecting something. Sergio Perez wants to know how old I am. I'm 33. What about the S5000? That went ahead this morning, Ross. But I couldn't tell you what happened or what the result was. But it did go ahead this morning. What racing is there to watch this weekend, says Michael. I think so. He said NASCAR's on or NASCAR's on. People who buy tickets got next year instead, says Blobmon. That might be a way around it for F1. If people bought a ticket, they can get in next year for free or on that ticket. So not for free, but you know the point I'm making. They won't, but they could. Couple of people just joining. Yes, it looks like Australia's off. Sky Sports reporting it, a number of others as well. No official word. I'll do another refresh. No official word from the FIA or F1 just yet, but it is looking like it's off. But yeah, again, no official word. People want me to stay live till it's official. We'll see how we go. I'm not sitting here till midnight while the FIA make their minds up. Yeah, V8 Supercars apparently is still on. So there you go, some racing there. I don't know if you can watch that wherever you are, but I'm sure there'll be streams somewhere online. Why not watch Marbula 1? I do. I love Marbula 1. It's good fun. Do you remember Simtech, says Daniel Philpott? I do indeed. Carl TV says FIA and FOM are useless. It feels that way, doesn't it, mate, at the moment? I can't believe it's left so late. I really can't. Do you think Bahrain will go ahead, Sean? That's from Cliff. Good question. I did say this a couple of times actually earlier that I don't... I think if enough McLaren personnel are in isolation, you'd assume most of them would have to be in isolation if they've come into contact with whoever that was. But if they are into isolation, then McLaren won't be racing in Bahrain because we're 7 days away from all the press conferences and that, and we're 10 days away from the race. You did a 2-week quarantine, so I think it's pretty safe to assume at the moment that McLaren probably won't be racing in Bahrain, and I think that might force F1's hand again. So yeah, I mean, my word's pointless because I said Australia was going to go ahead. I thought Australia was going to happen. I really did. Until about an hour ago. Or a couple of hours ago, and it all changed very quickly. So I've got a feeling it will. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling it will. Again, I said Australia would have gone ahead, but I think it's behind closed doors. Bahrain have already put precautionary measures in place to test people on arrival and all of that business and keep people isolated. But I think it could come down to McLaren. If McLaren can't race, I think F1 will have to make a decision. Or they'll have a decision to make. As of right now, I think it would still go ahead, but we'll see. I keep saying we'll see, but that is literally all we can do with this situation. Still no official word. but it looks like he's off. What's Boris said? Hey up. Worst public health concern for a generation. Many more families will lose a loved one before their time. Schools will not be closed and sporting events and mass gatherings will not be cancelled. That advice may change in the coming weeks. Keep calm and carry on. God damn it. Yeah, there we go then. Cool. We'll keep an eye on the F1 stuff then. BBC is not official, says King of Memes. It bloody is not, is it, at all? Yeah. Haven't been for a while of BBC. At this rate, you should change your name for waiting for the official F1 word. I probably should, shouldn't I? For now. But yeah, Denmark schools closed down. Denmark don't have any cases at all, do they? Something like that. I'm sure Denmark. Then they've basically locked down just in case, really. Absolutely, Philip. Nothing, Philip Barber there. Nothing is official. It isn't at all. We're still waiting. Until it's official, I don't feel like I can say it's been cancelled, but it pretty much has. So there we go. Do you think Liverpool will lose the Champions League given that EPL player there? Blah, blah. Should we try that again? We'll try it again. Do you think Liverpool will lose the Champions League given that if EPL league play can get suspended? I mean, they're out of this year's tournament, obviously. I don't know. I'm not sure what the situation. It looks like everything's going ahead as normal in the UK. Apparently, Denmark has over 650 cases. I read somewhere they had none. Obviously, that's wrong. You guys are telling me that there's loads, so I'll shut my mouth. But yeah, I read somewhere yesterday that have no cases, and that would explain a lot more why they shut down. So that was fake news, because I think that was on the BBC as well. There you go. 673 active cases. Ah, there you go. Thank you, John T. There you go. I'll shut my face. Let's rewind. That was it. Denmark have 0 deaths. Thank you, Harry Webb. Is that true as well, or am I just making it? Yeah. If that's not true, Harry, we're gonna have to have words. It's terrible. 1:09 a.m. says Blue Flag Alpha, where he is. Don't say there's a chance. Don't give me hope. Please don't. I don't think there is. 99.999% sure that this is off. The Australian Grand Prix is off. But again, there's no official word. No official word as yet. Ah, oh, madness. Just sending a message to the half. Bear with me. Singing for you as well. Look at that. It's terrible. Yeah, I got the Denmark thing. Thank you, Timothy. I got my things mixed up, but there you go. Has there ever been a season cancellation? I'm sure that's what that question was from Thomas. Thomas, has there ever been a season cancellation? No. We've seen races cancelled, particularly back in sort of the 70s and whatnot, when there was a lot of safety concern. Drivers were sitting out races, but we've never had a season, not an official World Championship season, cancelled. So yeah, no on that one. Mate, I had to think though for a second. I was like, did we? We must have had some, but no, never. So I'm not convinced this will. I think we are looking at probably at the minute the first 4 races are all under threat, and then what happens after that is up in the air. Especially when obviously the Netherlands announcing measures today. Putting off mass gatherings and that until the 31st of March. So there's question marks over that now. But Zandvoort is until the first week in May. Or the first weekend in May. So we'll see. Zandvoort is boring. Oh, it might be all right. It might be all right. McLaren have just tweeted thanking our fans and partners for their continued show of solidarity and support. # together we stand. There we go. On McLaren, their latest update, of course, they withdrew from the race, if you're just tuning in, earlier today after one of their team personnel tested positive for coronavirus. So it was all over for McLaren already. Chauncey, for God's sake. I bet people with a B-day are laughing so hard right now. What would Charlie Whiting have done here? I'm not sure a lot knew. I mean, I think he probably have had people by the scruff of the neck and said something, but it's not. It wouldn't have been Charlie's decision. But I think there'd have been a foot up the backside at the very least. So, yeah. Have I missed a super chat? Let's have a look. I probably have. Chat's moving so quickly today. I have, but I can't. Oh, why are you doing this to me, YouTube? I can't get to it. There we go. It's still there. It's okay. Zandvoort season opener. Thank you very much for your contribution there, mate. I keep calling you Acan because I don't want to totally destroy your name. So Zandvoort season opener. Thank you very much for your contribution. I think, yeah, again, wouldn't surprise me, but I still got a feeling that we're going to see Bahrain go ahead because it's behind closed doors. Still don't know about Vietnam. I think on that calendar you see on screen now, we're probably going to get another 2 orange races or amber races postponed. I don't know. Again, the stories yesterday on Vietnam were that Chase Carey had met with officials in Hanoi. A decision was going to be taken or had been taken on whether the race was going ahead, and an announcement will be on Sunday. With the thought was, according to reporters, that the race was going to be off. I say reporters. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. 8 hours until FP1, and we still have absolutely nothing from the FIA other than their crap statement earlier, or F1's crap statement earlier that told us nothing. Did you read the statement from F1 the other week, earlier this week? They put out quite a big thing on the website, and it was just this article. And I know people might say this about a lot of my content, but there were a lot of words in it, and it didn't really tell us anything. That's how badly they've handled it. Thank you very much to Tipper CP for your contribution. It says F1 won't be racing for at least 2 to 3 months. We'll see. All I would say on that is that FE, Formula E, aren't racing for a couple of months, and they're FIA owned, if you like, as well, or governed, not owned. But yeah, maybe. Again, sensible heads on may be the right thing to do, but from a racing head, can I wait 2 months for more F1? 2 or 3 months for some F1? I don't know. I think Bahrain now is the big question, isn't it? Because Vietnam possibly going to get called off. Australia has been called off, just waiting for official confirmation. Bahrain already behind closed doors. So can that race go ahead? It's all going to come down to who can travel, won't it? I mean, how are these? I need to go and read this really afterwards. I'll read this after the stream. How are the restrictions looking in Bahrain? Is it 2 weeks for anyone that's had symptoms, or is it 2 weeks for anyone that's been near somebody that's had symptoms or has been tested positive? I don't know. I really don't know. Bahrain is the big question mark now. I still think, I said this in the testing streams, I said it before testing, I think Vietnam is not going to happen. I've just felt that from pretty much day one. I might be wrong. It might end up being the season opener. Who knows? But I just don't think. Yeah. It could be that we have Bahrain and then nothing till Zandvoort. It could be that we have Bahrain and Vietnam and then Zandvoort. It could be that we have nothing until the Netherlands. It's all so up in the air. And like I say, evolving so much. Apparently Man United game's going ahead tonight. So yeah. F1ology, thank you very much for your contribution. It says, has F1 officially cancelled the race for this week? If so, what will happen to the TV programming for this week? And what will you do instead? Probably. It's reports are saying that high-level sources have told them that the race is off. Sky and the BBC and all of that are all reporting that it's off, but the FIA haven't released an official statement. So it is cancelled or postponed, but we've not heard that officially. It's probably the way to answer that one. TV programming, Sky will just run a load of reruns of old races, I'd imagine. Probably go as far as to play their clips that they like to play. Johnny Herbert doing something funny and some F1 show and that kind of thing. Just repeat after repeat after repeat. As for me, no idea. Probably wrap all of this into one video, into a short video, a news video that could go out of the weekend. Just to, once we've got all the information in, and then we'll see for Bahrain, I guess. Might even be sat here next Thursday doing this stream again, but replacing Australia for Bahrain. I think that's where we're at the moment. It's a little bit all over the place, isn't it? Nobody really knows, apart from the FIA, who are just not telling anyone anything, unless a decision hasn't been taken. Who knows? NHL apparently just suspended the season. Don't know if that's official or what. I haven't seen anything on Sky. Sky don't tend to report on anything they don't cover. I've noticed that a lot. They hardly ever used to mention Formula One. Then they got the rights and it's all they talk about. It's what they do. Like stupid little things you notice. It doesn't matter, but stupid little things you notice. Like on the Sky Sports app, when they had the Champions League rights, the Champions League coverage was always really high up on the agenda. You'd go on your fixtures and they'd be like the second thing, and your tables, they'd be the second tables. When they lost the rights, they all just dropped to the bottom and they're not interested. That's what they do. But yes. Apparently NHL has been suspended. So there you go. Are you signing Jess as part of the F1 word, which is why she's leaving WTF1? No. I'd love to have Jess on, but no, that's not why she's left WTF1. I've not poached her. It's all right. I didn't steal her. But yeah. John had a feeling this would happen. I said earlier, mate, all week, just something hasn't felt right to me, and I've just been expecting this. Real versus Man City suspended. Yep, that's already done. Jess would be awesome, Sean. Yes, I'd love to have Jess on. Get on with her, Real. For the conversations we've had, she hasn't announced what she's doing, has she? Ask Zero. I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. I've not seen anything. Sean swoops in with the £25 purchase of Jess. It would, yeah. Come on, £27. Be kind. I'll do an update in a minute. Somebody asking there, is Australia cancelled? Yes, but we haven't had official word yet. Double checking. No, nothing official, but yeah, everybody's reporting this off. So we just want this ridiculous statement to come out. I can't, or not ridiculous statement, why it's taking so long. You know, this has been reported by sources all over the place. People know that this is probably off, but there's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm doing refreshes constantly. I have to get a bot for refreshing things. Refresh. So apparently the UK government is considering banning sporting fixtures amid the coronavirus outbreak, but it will not happen immediately. Get your bog roll. Is there still a chance it's on, says David? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm trying to be, you never know about it, because, you know, people are reporting it, but they might still come out and surprise us, but I think it's over. Australia. I think we're done. Like I say, BBC reported it. Sky said it was on. BBC said it was off. Sky then changed it to off. Loads of people saying it's off. I think the Daily Mail have said it's off. Chris Medland said it's off. Luke Smith has said the same. So all over the place, people are saying the race is off. It's pretty much official, but we have absolutely nothing from the FIA. The FIA might be in bed. They might still be asleep, but they need to get their backsides out of bed and let people know what's going on, because people are going to be getting ready to go to Melbourne shortly for the racing. And also, we've got journalists who are not employed by the FIA up all night waiting for a statement and letting people know what's going on. So thank you to those guys out there in Australia who are literally staying awake all night trying to keep everybody up to date, because the FIA can't be bothered. Trying to think as well, like Silverstone, not so much on practice days, but certainly on qualifying and race days, you are queuing at the gate ridiculously early because you want a good spot if you've not got a grandstand ticket. if you're general admission, that's the words I'm after. If you're a general admission ticket holder, I couldn't remember the words then. If you're a general admission ticket holder, then you're queuing early hours to get there. So people will be at the gates well before anything happens happens today. So I don't know. Quick recap. Go on then, Ian. Why not? I will do that for you. So hang on. Actually, no, I won't. 1 second. I need a mouthful of water. I've been talking for 2 hours and 20 minutes on my own. Crazy. It's like testing streams all over again. So quick update. I'm just going to do a final check on the FIA. So where are we at? We are at 5:22 UK time, obviously in the afternoon. Super chat coming on, I'll open that just in case it disappears. But earlier today, or yesterday, 5 F1 team personnel, 4 from Haas, 1 from McLaren were put into isolation. They were tested and we waited for results. This morning it was confirmed by officials and by McLaren that one of the McLaren personnel had tested positive, 4 Haas personnel had tested negative. So we had a McLaren member of McLaren's team testing positive for coronavirus. Prior to that, Lewis Hamilton has said that he was shocked they were there. Kimi Raikkonen wasn't happy that they were there either, felt that if it was up to teams and drivers, they wouldn't be there. Others saying, like Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, saying we need to trust the FIA, but we are also right to question why we're here, and all of that kind of thing. But yes, McLaren personnel confirmed as having it. One member, he was put into isolation again, or she, I shouldn't say that. They were put into isolation again. That's then led to tons of speculation about the race. A lot of people saying it was going to happen, some saying it won't. Are we going to lose the season? More people, there were conflicting reports about how there might have been more people who've contracted it, but that's not been confirmed, and as far as I know, that's not the case. And then it all kind of kicked off out of nowhere. Sky reported that the race was to go ahead. They'd heard, Craig Slater's mate had told him that everything was fine and it was all going ahead. The 9 teams had agreed that they would race without McLaren. Then about half an hour later, the BBC said that the race was off, and 2 high-level sources had told them the race was off. That was then backed up by the likes of Chris Medland over on Twitter and people like that, Luke Smith, for example. Then we got Sky changing their statement or their report, saying that now they believe that it has been postponed. And we are all sat here like fools, waiting for the FIA to decide what they're doing officially. But as far as it looks, I don't see how that many people from that many different publications can report the same thing and it not be true. So I think the race is postponed at the very least. But we have no official statement from the FIA or from Formula One. I haven't checked F1 actually. I better check them very quickly. But generally they release statements together. Last Formula One post was 5 hours ago. Formula One and the FIA have been coordinating with all the relevant authorities on the next steps. Our priority is the safety of fans, the teams, and all personnel at the race. That was in response to McLaren's statements. That was 5 hours ago, was the last time we heard anything from F1 or the FIA, which seems crazy. Absolutely crazy. I keep saying that. So that's how things are at the moment. It looks like it's off, but we are just waiting for official. And yeah, Autosport, Motorsport, whichever one you read, they're also reporting it. Loads of people who you would say are in the know are telling us it's off, but the FIA and F1, as somebody said, are probably still in bed. There you go. Thank you very much to Aaron Washington for your contribution. People in the teams are contracting coronavirus. Is any Grand Prix safe no matter where it is? Would it not be safer to postpone the entire F1 calendar? I think that's a debate that a lot of people are having. You know, is this going to be it? Is this the season off? I think the problem is, with the season being so long, you know, we're running till November. It would maybe be a little bit mad to call it all off now in March. So I think the sentiment behind the approach is probably right, in that they're going to sort of do it on a race-by-race basis or do it on a month-by-month basis or something like that. You know, are we going to be able to race in Australia? Looks like that's off. What about Bahrain? Make a decision on that. Then we'll look at April. China's off. Do we call off Vietnam and do it that way? Because, you know, if the FIA and Formula One turned around today and said, oh, let's cancel the whole season. Let's cancel it right now. There's no point. And then we get to, I don't know, 28th of June, the French Grand Prix, and everything's calmed down, and the races would have been fine to go ahead. They're going to look incredibly stupid. I know better to be safe than to be sorry, but at the same time, I think doing it on a few races at a time basis is probably the best way to go, even if it means that we don't start the season till Belgium. As long as we get 8 races in, then it's a world championship. But I think a lot of people are concerned that we're going to lose a whole season here, but we'll keep an eye on it. And another contribution actually from Aaron. Thank you, mate. He said, if it was correcting your other one. Thank you very much for that. That's very good of you. And you can watch the XFL this weekend, says Ian. What's the XFL? Am I going to get shouted at now? What is the XFL? Let me know in chat. It's the way to go with that one. NFL, but more extreme. Thank you very much, Robert. There we go. My PC's having a moment, so apologies. If you hear a big whack of noise in the background, don't know what's up with it today. It's having one of those. It's been on all day. That's probably why. Having a moment. More Sky breaking news. Probably not F1 related, but again, still nothing from the FIA. I'm kind of just sat here now waiting for this official statement. So I'll have another sip of water. Then I'll take some more comments and questions. We'll do that one. And then we'll see where we're at in 5 minutes' time. That's how we kind of go. We're coming to 6 o'clock, so maybe we'll get the official word soon. But yeah. Will teams have the same number of engines if this season is shorter? That's from Tyler. That's a good point. I suppose it depends how much shorter, doesn't it? If we lose half the season, then do they lose a power unit or 2 power units? Yeah, because because it's 3 for the season, isn't it? Or other parts are 2, but 3 for the season, let's say. 22 races, break it into thirds, you sort of 7 races. 7, 14, 21. So, yeah. If we lose 7 races, then maybe they'll go down to 2 power units for the year. If we lose 14 races, then maybe just the 1 or something like that. But that's a fair point. Never considered that much, to be honest. Ross Braun said, if a team voluntarily pull out, it will go ahead as a non-championship race. That is from Tunatastic. Maybe, but at the minute it looks like it's off, or it is off. I think it is off. I need to just start saying it's off. 7.5 hours till FP1 now. Yeah, absolutely. I think NFL, but people screw each other up more. There you go. That's what the XFL is. That would explain the X, maybe. Maybe. It's the only logical choice. Will the F1 2020 game still have all the tracks on if it didn't actually race on them? I'd assume they will, because it's an officially licensed product, and even if the race is, whether it's on or off or not, it would still have. It's still an official race, isn't it? So I'd assume so. At the minute, we'll see. I don't know. Would they still put a game out if there was no season? Nothing to really, intriguing. Is it on or is it off? Off. I think we can say it's off. We're just waiting for the official confirmation now. Is where we're at the moment, unfortunately. So no F1 this weekend. Unfortunately, Chamber in chat. Good afternoon, mate. Says, wow, this turned out to be a long stream. I've had my eyes checked since you told me you were going live. Yeah, I thought we were going to get an announcement a bit more quickly than we've had one, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, mate. But it's all good. But yeah, Australian Grand Prix off. Just waiting for official confirmation now. So there we go. Thank you very much to MLC as well for your contribution. I appreciate that one. If they can first 8 races. Let me try that again because it's scrolling up and trying to read while it moves. I think if they can run the first 8 races or thereabout, who wins the championship? idea, Martin. But yeah, you only need 8 races for the championship. It's weird. That doesn't sound a lot, does it? I mean, I don't know how long that rule's been in there, but you would... Yeah. Probably a while. They don't like to update things till they need to, do they? Or they realise that they need to update something. Somebody saying their confirmation won't come until about 30 minutes before FP1. Probably what we're looking at. I love you all, and I'm quite happy to sit here waffling. I am not sitting here for another, 7.5 hours? No way. No way. I'm probably we'll see, we'll give it a little bit longer, and then if we don't get an official word, I'll probably give it the old, that's it, we're done, but it's off. Put a post in when it's made official. So if you are tuning in for the first time, first of all, welcome. Feel free, as Tina has there, thank you very much, Tina, to smash that subscribe button, and please do drop a like as well on the stream. It will be massively appreciated. But what I was going to say was, if you are subscribed, keep an eye on the community tab, and I will pop a post in there updating you once the FIA have given us some kind of statement with the full statement on there. But yeah, that's probably what I'll have to do. We'll see. We'll go. I'll give it a little bit longer. Don't mind waiting a little bit longer, but I don't think we're getting anything from the FIA imminently. I'm saying that in the hope that they're not listening, and we'll see. That's another super chat coming in. Thank you very much to well, yeah, Urban Era. Oh my god. Urbaner Abyss 43. Oh my god. MLB and NHL season look like they are being postponed. It's not good, is it? It looks that way. I know NBA is, and I think people have said the NHL is off, but I don't know about MLB at the moment. So don't know about the baseball. So yeah, apologies about the name there. Got that totally wrong. I had to read it about 6 times there, but yeah. There you go. So it's suspended apparently. John says the entire NHL season is suspended. I mean, maybe postpone a season for a few months and just run over Christmas. I wouldn't mind sitting down and watching a Grand Prix Christmas Day. Never going to happen, is it? Never going to happen. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that, Stuart. Read that super chat first. Thank you, Paul. Says coronavirus Australian Grand Prix called off. That's the BBC. Yep, we know that one, mate. But thank you very much. We're still waiting for the official word for the FIA. I'm still here. And DK Films, this is serious. Slew of events being cancelled. If the world is like that, F1 has to adjust, and we'll have to suck it and see. Absolutely. F1 is not above everything else, is it? So, as fans, we love it, and we're always going to defend it. But in these situations, health and safety priority. But yes, Stuart, I'm stealing your poll for chat. So another one that's going to annoy me now because I won't be able to keep up with you. Stuart put out a post, Mr. Chainbear, the bearer of chain, said first race of 2020, ? Will it be Bahrain, Vietnam, Netherlands or later? What do you reckon, chat? Bahrain, Vietnam, Netherlands or later as the first race of the 2020 season? Totally stole that, Stuart. Stuart, sue me later. That'll be it. I voted Netherlands, by the way, just hoping that I'm so far off and it actually ends up being like Bahrain. Thank you very much to Aaron again for another contribution. Says the other 2 races most likely in hot water, USA and Italy. I think there's big question marks over every race, isn't there, mate, at the moment? But I would say at the moment, you'd probably say they might be okay because it's quite a way off, but just we don't know how the situation is at that time, do we? Like I said earlier, it's changing so quickly that it could all be sorted come Italy. Unlikely, but it could be, but it could even be worse. Difficult. Monaco's a good shout. Monaco will be a good first race of the season. Thank you as well to Curtis. Do you think these delays benefits some teams more than others? And if so, who does it harm the most? If so, who and who does it harm the most? I think these delays are going to harm the likes of Williams and Haas and Racing Point more than anybody because they rely on their sponsorship and their revenue. And I don't know about sponsor contracts. I don't know what Nicholas Latifi's deal is. Is he paying for the full season? Is he paying per race? So that's going to hit them financially. So I think delaying races is really, or cancelling races is really going to hurt teams like Williams. Not as much as if if they cancel the season, I would fear for teams like Williams. Genuinely, I'd like to think that Liberty would do something to support them in that situation, but I would be concerned for them. As for who it benefits, I think it probably benefits the big teams. Obviously, they're going to take a financial hit as well, but nowhere near. It's not going to devastate them as much as it could a team like Williams, but it's going to give them more time to focus on 2021. If everything gets sorted, and they're already going to have an advantage next year anyway because of the money they can spend. So I'd maybe argue the top teams, which won't go down very well. But it's a good question, that one. Thank you for that. Yeah, I do worry for teams like Williams. Financial point of view. Cat-like peak. NASCAR to hold races without fans, so nothing's changed. So NASCAR are doing what they're doing, and that was it for Super Chats as well. So what we got, some ats in there. Bring back the Turkish Grand Prix and do it there 22 times. It is the least, or one of the least coronavirus hit areas in the world, says Jack Webb. I really like that track in Istanbul. I really do, but I don't think the political situation would allow that race to go ahead. Should they switch to esports version of these races? We actually had this conversation earlier. I think the majority of chat agreed they'd quite like to see that. So I think generally, if there's no F1 races, then yeah, let's do it virtual. Let's get some esports out there because it's something, isn't it, to pass the time if nothing else. Paul says all events over 100 people cancelled in the Netherlands. Absolutely. It's just not looking good worldwide for sport, is it? But again, yeah, health and safety first is what they're going to be. They're saying a lot of motorsport series are announcing postponed races in advance. Yeah, a lot of people not happy with F1, and I kind of totally understand as well. Oh, thank you very much. Who's that? David atting me in a tweet as well about active cases of coronavirus per country, and Denmark isn't on that list, is he? Yes, they will be somewhere, surely. Oh, not on the list, but it's a good list of things there, yeah. So many in Italy. It's crazy. Mad. If Haas pulls out of F1, would it influence the decision of Renault to stay or leave? Says Mattception. Thank you very much, mate, for that one. I don't think so. Sorry, having some water. I don't think so. I don't think they'd be looking at. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I'll say no. F1 guy, why not close it off just like Bahrain? Again, we talked about that one earlier, actually. If the race goes ahead, which it isn't, but if the race were to have gone ahead, then behind closed doors would make the most sense. Definitely. Why are you profiting from this, Sean? It seems unethical. Because I'm streaming. Is Sky unethical for having adverts in between their news on it all? I don't think so. Baku season opener, says Rohan. That'd be cool. Baku's a great race, isn't it? So yeah, could be. What do you think will happen with the Netflix deal? Slug for Life. I think SFL Ocon was recording something with them. So yeah, there you go. Yes, I am still online. Samar, not for long though. I think we're just going to call it as off, and then hope the FIA don't change their mind. Yeah. I don't think they will. I know there'll be so many of you clinging on to the hope. That they might change their mind, but I don't think so. Chamber, assuming Melbourne gets cancelled, I'm convinced we're going to go through this all again for Bahrain. I said that earlier. Sorry, just look at Twitter there. Yeah, I said that earlier, didn't I? I think we're going to be doing this in a week's time. Maybe wait until we get an official announcement before I go live next time. What if a driver gets affected? That's a concern. That is a concern. So yeah, there you go. I think that's the worry, isn't it? Bahrain too soon, Vietnam too risky, China too cancelled. Dutch and Spanish will be cancelled by governments, possibly Monaco too. They'll make Baku well done. I don't know. I just can't shake this feeling that Bahrain will go ahead. Genuinely. Just this feeling that Bahrain are going ahead as normal. So I was reading something on Twitter there. People having a pop at me because I'd put out that Sky had reported that the race was going ahead. It was then explained underneath that tweet if people bothered to read. I'm asking people on Twitter to read. That's stupid. People bothered to read that it was sources and it was all coming from Craig Slater and we didn't have anything official. So read both tweets before being a dick. Is probably the right thing I put on there. So yeah, I'm talking to Twitter like they can hear me. That's terrible. This will only get worse. Close spectators and get on with it. Please continue. I don't care if it's behind closed doors. Imagine watching a stream and complaining he is profiting. I didn't mean to read that one, but yeah, there you go. People will complain. I'm a content creator. This is my job. If you go back to the Antoine Hubert stream that we did after the race, that was not monetized. So there you go. But this is... I'm sat here waffling for 3 hours. I don't think there's anything wrong if people want to donate. I'm not asking anybody to. It's not profiting. It's not unethical at all. If it's unethical, then news channels can't show adverts. There you go. Indeed, Blue Flag Alpha. RIP, Hubert. They have cancelled Australia. That's come from Sarah Branston. Just asking if it's cancelled. They have. But again, nothing official from the FIA, which is annoying. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes since I went live, and we've got nothing official. So, where are we at? I'll give it till 6. 15 minutes. And if we don't hear anything, no, 20 minutes. If we haven't heard anything by 6:05, because 6 o'clock might be when we get the announcement, then I will end the stream there. But keep an eye on the community section or the community whatever here on YouTube, and I will put the old statement when it comes in on there. But yeah, that's nothing I can say until the FIA puts something out. Again, it's done. Just some confirmation that NASCAR is going on behind closed doors. Yes, so that's just confirmed there. Fan festival scheduled for Kyalami cancelled. That's not confirmed. That's from Dieter Renken. Says another blow. I'm hearing F1 Fan Festival scheduled for Kyalami on 28th, 29th of March is cancelled due to COVID-19. What next? Confirmation about Australia, Vietnam, and then. So it's looking. I wonder when does Kyalami fall between Bahrain and Vietnam? So if they're calling off that fan event, I'd argue that we might be on the brink of losing the first 4 races this season. That's a good question. What have Australia said? The Australian Grand Prix over on Twitter. Nothing. They've not said anything for 5 hours either. Jesus. And that was just a retweet of the F1 statement. Yeah. I'll sit in and wait on this official thing. I don't think we're going to get it. A couple more e-comments then. That'll take us to about 6 o'clock. Not in Kyalami. Why did I say Kyalami? I'm thinking of the racetrack, aren't I? It's Johannesburg, is it? I seem to think. Yeah. F1's announcement is almost as slow as their steward decisions. Very true. Who's up for getting on here and just chatting whilst we watch the 24-hour ISS live stream on Sunday afternoon? Oh, Jonty, don't do that to me. 24 hours? 24 hours? People will be leaving for the circuit soon. Come on, FIA. That's from Rohan. Yeah, again, we're coming up to 7 hours away from FP1. I legit think they're all asleep, says Curtis. If we all shout loud enough, they wouldn't listen. Bahrain is going to be cancelled, guaranteed, without McLaren. That's from Seki. Apologies, as always. Just delay the season 6 months and start with 2021 spec, says Mr. Hashi. I'm so excited for 2021. I really am. I was excited for this season because 2020, in theory, everything should close up quite nicely, so we should have been in for a good season, but we'll see. But definitely looking forward to 2021. I tell you what I did think yesterday, randomly, Formula E. Like, Formula One's got 70 years of history behind it and a huge fan base. And I know Formula E is growing very nicely with its fan base and it's getting, its engagement is really good. But Formula One, if they called off this entire season, people would still come back next year and watch. I worry that a new series like Formula E might really suffer with viewership. I'm pretty sure a lot of their loyal fans will still go back, but I worry that, they're still growing. How hard could this hit them? Just a random thought. Probably just worrying too much about nothing. But yeah, just thinking that yesterday. I don't think they'd suddenly go under and the sport would be over. But I just wonder how hard it would hit them from a financial point of view, but other things as well. But yeah, if they do Baku first, are they going to do it on March 15th or later? No, it'll be Baku time. Yeah, Chris Medland's post of an hour ago, bless him, hasn't come to be right. He said an hour, didn't he? And that was well over an hour ago now. So yeah, that's what I mean. They're working on no information. We've got personnel over there up all night trying to let everyone know what's going on while the FIA are in bed or whatever. I still think 7 a.m. We'll see. Weirdest start to a season, says Blobmon. This feels like it, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it isn't, though. I'm sure we've had some weirder starts, but it really feels like a weird start to the season at the moment. And is Oz Grand Prix confirmed to cancel? As good as is all it, it is, but we haven't had the official word from the FIA. So, again, if you're just tuning in, Sky Sports now reporting it's been postponed or is off, I think they're saying. The BBC have confirmed it's been postponed. Chris Medland, a number of other journalists who are very well respected, and are quite reliable, are saying it's been postponed. They've been told by high-level sources. The FIA have said nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it is crazy, really, that they've not said anything. We've got journalists up all night doing their job for them. But there you go. So it is, but we're still waiting the official word. Like I say, I'll give it till 6:05 because that gives them 6 o'clock. You know what's going to happen. You've been following this chat. We've done these before, these breaking news live streams, and you know what's going to happen. The minute the stream finishes, the statement will go out. That is just what happens. But that will be, again, if you are new, again, welcome. Please do subscribe. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream. A little bit of a random one, like I keep saying, a bit of a waffle because I just wanted to go live. Why not? But yeah, do subscribe and keep an eye on the community section on YouTube. And I'll put the statement out that the FIA released. And then probably I'll either put a video out tomorrow. I might do it tomorrow because it's obviously people are going to want to know for the weekend. But a video out just wrapping everything up with nothing massively opinionated. I've done enough of that here. Probably just something that is based on, that would just be all fact, basically. It would just be me saying, this is what the FIA have said and here's what's going on and whatnot. So probably do that tomorrow. It'll either go out tomorrow afternoon or Saturday morning. But yeah, shouldn't take long. Yeah, that's what I'll do. That is what I'll do. We'll give it, again, 6:10, which is, where are we now? We're coming up to 5 to 6 now in the UK. So 10 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. But thank you, everybody, for coming along, actually. It's been nice to just waffle. Yeah. I don't know why I keep thinking 7 a.m. Somebody in chat there saying 6 a.m. Melbourne time, maybe. But, yeah, that would be 7 a.m. here. 7 p.m. here, so... I didn't see Will Buxton's tweet earlier, so I didn't see if it was deleted or what he deleted. Just literally, if you can hear the mouse clicking, it is me just frantically refreshing everything, trying to make sure. We've got nothing yet. No. I can give some press conference quotes if you want to get really excited. Why not, eh? I think. Maybe not. Oh, no, it's other ones I've already told you. Never mind. Lewis Hamilton not happy. The race going ahead. Yeah, it's all the stuff I've already read, so I won't do it again, but there you go. Have I seen the new F1 intro? That's from Owen Bradley. Yes, I have. Don't like it because I liked the Manchester United, not Manchester. I'm reading two things. Stop doing it. Last year's, or the last couple of years, I like the way it kind of, it's a 30-second thing or whatever, and it ends nice and dramatically, and then that's it. I don't like that it kind of goes off and then fades away. I also think it's a bit much. I don't. Is that official intro, or is that going to be just for F1 TV? I assume official because it's the world feed, isn't it? But yeah, I'm not. Yeah. It's not awful, but I'm not a huge fan. Love some of the stuff in the background, by the way. I like all the hit. I love my F1 history, so it's good to see all of that and nods to things. A few little moments were a bit like, really, but. It's all right. It wasn't amazing, but it's all right. But I still think the first one they did in 2018 was the best one. Last year's was a bit too I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, in the way they did it with all their names and that. But I like the one before, the year before. Lots of good versions, though. If you don't follow Late Breaking on Twitter, give them a follow. They put a version out with The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, the F1 theme a lot of people will have grown up with who watched it when I was watching. So, yeah. It's a good version. It does look really, really cool. I did one for... I did one with the Boys Will Be Boys song from the Ordinary Boys, or Ordinary Boys, which I'm not going to put out because I edited it in such a way that it makes... Yeah, that will get me in trouble. So, no, I'm not, not doing it. But, yeah, I was messing about with that yesterday. No, I don't think we're going to get anything. It's not looking like it. Not looking like it. Hazel's doing a big Tesco. I've got my Tesco shopping coming tomorrow, but I don't think anything's turning up. I went online earlier to add something to it, and it's like, out of stock. And it's like, great. So I'm going to be like, well, where's my pasta? And they're going to give me fabric softener or something, which would be great and really useful. But anyway, yeah. Neither here nor there. So what I'll do then, where are we? We are 5:56 UK. So very quickly, quick recap of what's been going on. If you've been here for the full 3 hours, then you've heard all this 63 times already. So apologies, but this is for people coming in. Yesterday, 5 members of team personnel were put into isolation. That was 4 from Haas and 1 from McLaren. Sorry, I was checking Twitter again. And 1 from McLaren. This morning they had the FIA, or this afternoon in the in Australia. They had the driver's press conference. Lewis Hamilton not happy, shocked that the race is going ahead. Kimi Raikkonen didn't think that if it was up to the teams, the race would be going ahead. Sebastian Vettel saying we need to trust the FIA, but also it's right to question why we're racing. So a number of drivers unhappy with the way it's been handled by the sounds of it. I think the GPDA were meeting yesterday, actually, so I think they were about miffed at everything. But anyway, then McLaren released a statement. Let's have a look at it. Saying that they have confirmed this evening in Melbourne that it has withdrawn from the 2020 Formula 1 Australian Grand Prix. That's McLaren withdrawing from the race following the positive test of a team member for the coronavirus. So the one member of McLaren team personnel tested positive for corona, but the 4 Haas personnel tested negative. So some good news there for Haas. The team member was tested and self-isolated as soon as they started to show symptoms and will now be treated by local healthcare authorities. The team has prepared for this eventuality and has ongoing support in place for its employee, who will now enter a period of quarantine. The team is cooperating with the relevant local authorities to assist their investigations and analysis. Zach Brown and Andreas Seidel informed Formula 1 and the FIA of the decision this evening. The decision has been taken based on a duty of care not only to McLaren F1 employees and partners, but also to the team's competitors, Formula 1 fans, and wider stakeholders. So, even before anything else, we knew sorry, I have an issue there. We knew that McLaren would not be racing full stop, whatever happened. And then we got to... What time? I've lost the time now. Initially, Sky were reporting everything was cool. The race would be going ahead, and then it was confirmed by the... What's going on? What are you up to? In chat, what have I done? Just hang on. I'm working towards it, peeps. I'm working towards it. It was said by Sky that it were all going ahead as planned. Then it was confirmed by many sources saying that the race was over. And then it looks as though it's all been confirmed officially. Nothing, no. I'm having mic issues. Is that what you're telling me? I'm just going to sit here and wait. But that's the situation at the minute. I'm just having a quick double check of everything. Motorsport, Autosport, people like that, all saying that it's off, but nothing official from the FIA still. We're 6 o'clock UK time. We are 5, 6 hours? No, 7 hours, Sean. Learn to count. 7 hours away from the start of FP1. And we still don't have an official word. But at the moment, it looks like we've lost the Australian Grand Prix. So there we go. That's it. That's the update. That's all I can tell you. Basically, we've got 7 hours till FP1, and although apparently it is cancelled, we have no official word from the FIA. So that is frustrating that we don't have an official word, but it is. If you're essentially asking, do I think this is off? Yes, it is. It's over. We're not having an Australian Grand Prix. So if you're in the UK, by the way, don't hate me if this doesn't come out to be true and you miss FP1. But if you're in the UK or you have to get up early hours, don't bother. There is going to be no FP1. Australian Grand Prix is off. Just waiting for the official term, but I don't think we're going to get it. So once again, please do make sure you subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on the stream as well. I think we went over 1,000, somebody said. So I'm going to check that now. I'm going to check that now. Yeah, over 1,000. So thank you so much, everyone, for dropping a like. Please do drop a like before you disappear. And don't forget to subscribe and keep an eye on that community tab on YouTube. I will put the statement out when it is released by the FIA, and make sure you follow me on social media as well, because I will be tweeting probably a bit over there, and we'll let you all know what's going on as well. But yeah, I think we're going to pretty much leave it there. If anyone's got any other questions, super quickly before I go, 2 minutes. But I don't think we've been talking for like 3 hours now, so I don't think we need to worry. I need to go rest my voice for a bit. But I will put a news video or something out tomorrow, or like I say, Saturday morning, just wrapping all of this up once we've got all the information and statements in from teams and reactions from drivers and whatnot. And that's the best way to do it. But yeah, I quite like these breaking news streams. They're a little bit random, a little bit waffly, and a little bit unpredictable. And the FIA have once again kept me guessing. But just to confirm, reported by motorsport.com, Autosport, which is the same thing, I know, a number of others as well, including Chris Medland and co. It's also been confirmed or reported on Sky Sports F1 or Sky Sports News. Also confirmed by the BBC and lots of other publications as well. The Australian Grand Prix is postponed. However, no official word from the FIA or from Formula One, and I'd imagine they'll wait until this stream finishes to do so. So again, keep an eye on that community section and social media, and I will let you know what the latest is once it all comes in. But as I say, I think one final refresh. I just know what's going to happen. I just know what's going to happen. Nothing official. So yeah, we're going to leave it there. I will be back, like I say, yeah, tomorrow to wrap everything up. I have no idea what's going to happen after that, but obviously I will try and keep you updated as much as I can with videos and posting that community thing and over on social media as to what's happening about Bahrain. I'd imagine we're going to be sat here in a week's time doing exactly the same again. But at the moment, just to confirm, the Australian Grand Prix, according to multiple sources, has been postponed, but we are still waiting for that official statement from the FIA. If you've been here for the full 3 hours, thank you so much for your company this afternoon. It's been a pleasure. I know it's been all over the place, but it's always nice to have a bit of a waffle about F1. If you've been dropping in and out, again, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like, to follow me on social media, and to subscribe if you are new. We're on that road to 100k. So, yeah, let's just hope we get Bahrain. But as ever, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.